T. Wolf and her mother were last seen yesterday near 15th and Avers. Now, the child may be in danger. Anyone with information about the child's whereabouts should call 911. A group of public park activists are suing to block construction of the planned Obama Presidential Center on Chicago's South Side. Protect Our Parks Incorporated filed that suit yesterday against the city of Chicago and the Chicago Park District. The suit seeks a court order to ban the Park District and the city from improving that building at the center of the project and from handing over control of Jackson Park to the Obama Foundation. Activists claim they filed that suit because the center won't actually include an Obama official presidential library. A 7-year-old boy is recovering after being grazed by a bullet. Chicago police say the child was sitting in a vehicle yesterday when the driver got into an argument with someone at a gas station near 118th and Morgan. The person outside the car then pulled out a gun and fired shots. Amazon is planning to bring a cashierless store to Chicago. The e-commerce giant confirms that an Amazon Go store would open in Chicago and another in San Francisco, but did not specify when. Shoppers enter the stores by scanning a smartphone app. Cameras and sensors then track what the customers grab off the shelves and charge them after they leave. A person of interest is in custody connected with a Northwest Indiana police-involved shooting. Indiana State Police say Porter County Sheriff's deputies started shooting at a motorcyclist after he pulled a gun yesterday near a forest preserve. Investigators are declining to say if the motorist was struck by any bullets. The deputy was not injured. Former CPS CEO Paul Vallas is laying out his strategy for combating violence in Chicago if elected mayor next year. Speaking yesterday, Vallas said his plan includes boosting the number of total police officers in the city to 14,000 and restoring the number of detectives to 1,200. Chicago Park District is shutting off 200 water fountains due to concerns over lead. Spokesperson tells the Chicago Tribune the spigots have had lead detection greater than the maximum allowed by the federal government. Spokesperson also notes the fountains are considered low traffic. Other fountains will be running on a continuous basis to keep lead levels low. A man convicted of killing 5 in a Yorkville restaurant in 1972 is living in the south suburbs following complaints over his original address. Carl Reinman moved to LaGrange last month after being released from prison on parole. Community members voiced concerns because he lived across the street from an elementary school. He was first relocated to a sober home in Calumet City earlier this month. That is also a block away from another school. Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner says he wants prosecutors in the state to once again have the option to ask for the death penalty. Governor yesterday proposing a return to executions as part of his gun control package. Rauner says only those who kill officers or 2 or more people would be eligible, but it's unlikely to happen. The governor made the proposal as part of an mandatory veto, and lawmakers in Springfield rarely agree with those kinds of changes or tactics. Former Walgreens CEO Dan Jornt donating $1 million to Admonson High School. Jornt and his wife announcing the cash would go toward a new football field. They also donated $15,000 to 6 graduating seniors, citing their leadership qualities. Jornt graduated from Admonson, and his father was a teacher at that school. The East St. Louis High School boys track team will not be allowed to compete the rest of this year after a fight broke out in the stands during a track meet last week. The Illinois State School Superintendent upheld the East St. Louis School District's original decision to cancel the season. The brawl happened during the Southwestern Conference Championships boys track meet at East St. Louis High School. Jose Bautista belts a go-ahead 3-run home run in the 5th inning. Braves hold on to clip the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley Field. Cubs and Braves now play 3 in Atlanta. White Sox open a 2-game series against the Pirates at PNC Park. Bulls find out where they will pick in the 2018 NBA draft tonight at the Palmer House Hilton. While the Bears signed 5 players, including Simeon grad Matt Fleming. Wide receiver took part in last weekend's rookie minicamp with Coach Matt Nagy and apparently shined and earned a contract. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans, figuring out how to cover college costs. Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:08 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Squirrely is a hard-working squirrel that enjoys life to the fullest, eager to take on new challenges and experiences alongside Starlet, his soulmate and the love of his life. Read Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet and see the world through the eyes of a newborn squirrel. You'll delight in the antics of Squirrely, Starlet, and their little family. A heartwarming adventure that teaches family values. Beautifully illustrated, a great story time read. Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet from Larry Friend. Available now at litfirepublishing.com. You will fall in love with Icy the Iceberg, the new, highly original children's book from Larry Friend. Follow Icy on his incredible journey, beginning his life as a sparkling snowflake and emerging as a beautiful blue floating iceberg. Icy the Iceberg is a joy for parents and kids alike. Experience together the fun creatures Icy encounters along his journey from snowflake to iceberg and back to snowflake. Kids will learn the complexities of the water cycle in a way they'll really enjoy. Icy the Iceberg, available now at litfirepublishing.com.
5:11 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. Roads are wet, and we once again have some flight cancellations. Looking at O'Hare, the flight board show more than 100 canceled flights today. Midway, just 9 at the moment. There are some delays as well. Check before heading to the airport. Outbound Eisenhower, the ramp to the outbound Kennedy just reopened. It was closed for overnight work. And the Kennedy Express lanes are now opening up on the inbound side. Edens looks good. Same goes for the Kennedy. The Eisenhower and the Stevenson inbound Ryan, a little slow already. Cermak and the Burn Circle, 18 minutes, 95 to downtown. Outbound, there's roadwork at 87th, 3 left lanes. I-57 at Sibley in both directions. There's high water, which has the left lane pretty much impassable in both directions. We'll expect some slowdowns there. Otherwise, though, we so far have fewer flood-related closures reported than we thought. Even some of the roads that were closed yesterday currently are open. Traffic service of LifeLock. In today's connected world, it takes just one weak link and your personal information can get into the wrong hands. Good thing new LifeLock with Norton now has protection for your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK for an extra 10% off your first year. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy today with some sun for the afternoon, high 70. Partly cloudy night, low 51. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 76. Clear to partly cloudy at night with a low 56. Partial sunshine Thursday, high 78. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare, 62 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, we knew it was going to be an eventful term, mostly because we're thinking about the Janus decision with respect to fair share and public sector unions. But the Supreme Court has already made it an eventful term even before the Janus decision is announced, thanks to the 7-2 decision to overturn PASPA.
Oh, that's what its name? Acronym for?
The Professional and Amateur Sports Betting Act.
Okay.
Not to be to confuse with pap smears, which is what Blagojevich wanted to give every woman for free.
Okay.
Before he went to prison.
Good morning.
Yeah.
You get a pap smear, and you get a pap smear.
That's what
you
he
get a
tried to
pap
do.
smear.
Yeah.
But I could not stop thinking about you yesterday because you're a recreational gambler, right? I mean, you tend to.
Well, just don't think about me. Think about all of our gambling addicts in Springfield. This clears the way for sports betting
to be taxed, right?
At casinos such as exist in Illinois. And there's already legislation that was filed, it's a couple of years old, by Representative Zalewski with respect to legalizing, essentially fantasy sports gambling. So all he really has to do is attach an amendment to the legislation that's been sitting in his committee, and away we go. The projection maybe is something on the order of $350 million for new education funding every year. That was just with respect to DraftKings.
Oh, really?
Who, by the way, released a statement, Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act. What did I say? Anyway, that's the acronym for a law that is no longer in force. DraftKings, today's ruling will allow us to further drive fan engagement by harnessing our proven technology to provide you with an innovative online sports betting product. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, who looks like he was being kept at Area 51 for observation for most of his life, he weighed in. He's a proponent of a federal framework for sports betting, just as long as the NBA gets its cut. Here's Silver. Two arguments he makes. One is transparency. The other is business opportunities. The transparency argument.
In the U.S. alone, where there's somewhere between $200 and $400 billion bet illegally on sports, not just the NBA, but all sports in the United States. And also, we had a scandal with a referee some number of years, and we only found out about it really by accident. This referee was picked up in an unrelated investigation. And the way I was thinking of it, like a public stock market, if there's transparency, if there's irregular behavior, sophisticated computers flag it and say there's aberrational betting on a particular game and what's going on. And the view was, number one, that with this enormous amount bet on the underground, without any transparency, we had no idea what was going on with our own league.
And so there's the transparency argument and the business opportunities argument.
And I don't want to just hide behind the integrity issue. It also, watching what was happening internationally, it's positive for business too. I know for myself, I certainly, in my current job, I'm not betting on sports, but I know that if you go take the Super Bowl, for example, and you're a Super Bowl party and you have a $5 friendly wager with your buddy, you're all in,
Yeah.
on that game that you might not otherwise care that much about if your team's not playing. And so, and remember what's happened in sports betting now. I mean, certainly when I was a kid, most betting was on winning and losing with a point spread or an over/under, something like that. Something like 80+% of the betting action now is what they call in play, which means people have shorter attention spans. So they're betting on, whether, how many points LeBron's going to have in the third quarter, or how many assists, part of it's just the limits of technology.
Yeah.
But there are ways now in Las Vegas and some of the casinos, they give out these iPads, and to your point about who scores next, I mean, the odds are pretty straightforward, but you can sit and bet guy goes to the free throw line, make it miss. And so people want to stay engaged. And so for me, the other thing for us is we're largely a media product that if you can create that additional engagement, you're going to raise your ratings, and people are going to watch more of your products.
He is smiling through his voice. Can you hear him? He's so giddy.
Well, the short version of it is people will go broke faster because of all these prop bets and the ability to instantaneously bet that he's describing.
And now it can be taxed. And Mark Cuban the lady said now, their product is going to be worth 4 times the amount that it's worth right now. But again, can you explain how this will work in Illinois?
You'll have a sports book at Rivers and Des Plaines. That's how it works.
That's how it works? All right.
Yeah.
But people that are avid gamblers, they already have bookies, right?
And if I get, if I get my way, you'll have, Dan's sports book at Lake Point Tower.
Oh.
No, that'll be a little bit more difficult.
Room
but
602.
I can imagine a future. Who could imagine this coming out of the past? Kind of came out of left field. I mean, it's a.
They were quiet because New Jersey's the state that brought this lawsuit to the Supreme Court, right?
Well, the Justice Department, the NCAA, challenged New Jersey's law, the 2014 law to prop up Atlantic City. But the decision is right on the merits of the Constitution. I mean, 7-2 decision, Alito writing the majority opinion, and essentially it's a Federalist argument. The federal government cannot be telling the states what they can and cannot do or how they can and cannot do it once they've established something as not prescribed.
Yeah, he said it could be a moral issue, so it should be up to the individual states. So, who are the 2 justices that voted against it? I'm going to find that out. Just for my friend Dan.
Yeah. So the issue then is whether this is good news, even though it's a proper decision. Is this good news for Illinois? Is this good news for the nation? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro. Text line, you no longer have to bet through Fat Tony on Grand Avenue, so that's good news. There's less likelihood that you'll bet beyond your means, less likelihood that you'll get your legs broken if you are unable to pay.
Yeah, but opponents are saying this is going to encourage gambling and this bad behavior.
Well,
and then there's going to be a sin tax. There's a tax on alcohol and cigars and cigarettes.
Yeah, the real question is, are we enabling the spendthrifts in Springfield and state capitals around the nation? Is this a way, which is what they've been doing for generations now? I mean, think about how old the lottery's 30 years old. Casinos are almost that, the riverboats are almost that old in Illinois. A way for them to paper over the structural infirmities of the state to avoid having to do restructuring and reforms to state government so that it's financeable, because that's what they really use gambling money for. So it's legalized dope, it's the lottery, it's casinos at the tracks, it's slots at the tracks, it's more casinos, and now you have sports books.
See, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm not a gambler. I'll maybe make a friendly wager with you on something,
Which you'll invariably lose.
Which I think my record, I'm 1 for 9. But I have that one win. But
spoken like a true problem gambler.
Yeah, exactly. But I just worry that, again, our legislators, our state lawmakers are going to get this money and line their own pockets with it. That's my biggest fear, as with everything.
Well, I mean, you'll just have you have the same gaming interests that finance both sides, try to influence both sides. You'll have this. I mean, it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less about buying and selling politicians. That's endemic to politics.
That won't be stopped.
It's about the revenue that it generates. Again, you have the state in the business of being opposed to the interests of their constituents. That's what the lottery is, right? The lottery is a scam.
Well, are we going to use the revenue from this to pay for the pensions?
Schools.
No, fund schools. Yeah.
And it's just like the lottery was going to. Remember the lottery?
The toll road was going to go away after we.
The lottery was going to fund schools, and we would never have to talk about funding schools in Illinois ever, ever, ever again. And the year after it passed, and every year subsequent, all we do is talk about funding schools. Because it turns out money's fungible, and politicians take this dedicated pot of money, and they say, oh, okay, well, if you get this dedicated pot of money for schools from the lottery, then we'll just take the money we were allocating for schools and we'll spend it somewhere else. And we'll just continue to grow government at a pace we can't sustain.
Oh, I know. Infrastructure programs.
Well, right. And by the way, we'll talk to Chuck Marone at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour, the founder of strongtowns.org, about his good work in exposing some of the skullduggery and scammery that is associated with these shovel-ready projects that politicians love to tout as well. So I mean, it's the right decision. I'm sorry to the bookmakers in our listening audience.
We're gonna
that
miss
impacts
you,
your business.
Fat Tony, Wabish.
And
what was your guy's name?
What was my guy's name? What?
Do you have a bookie?
No.
Or is that personal?
That's illegal.
Oh.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up, our First Lady waking up this morning at Walter Reed Hospital.
Tweet from Keith Lutz. If those slobs in Springfield want to see the effects of gambling, have them see the slot zombies at Horseshoe Harrah's, Majestic Star, Hollywood casinos. Won't get better with sports betting or online gambling either.
Forecast for today, mainly cloudy, cooler, a high of just 68 degrees. Tonight, a low of 51. And the good news is we have a string of days with no rain. Woo! Tomorrow, partly sunny, warmer, a high of 79. And same for Thursday and Friday. And by the weekend, we will be in the mid-80s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. I-57 in both directions at Sibley. There's high water in the left lane in both directions. We see it on the jam cam there. And traffic starting to get a little bit congested in that area. Now, Bishop Ford Freeway, 3 or 4 minute delay from 103rd to the Verge. Inbound Ryan has delay starting at 35th Street. It is already 30 minutes from 95th to downtown. Edens, Kennedy, looking good. Same goes for the Eisenhower and the Stevenson. The tollways are clear at the moment. Now, the ramp from the outbound Ike, the outbound Kennedy has reopened. That ramp was scheduled to close long-term sometime today, but that start date has been pushed back to tomorrow. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, for the month of May, if you buy anything from MyPillow, such as a pillow topper, possibly a pet bed or sheets, I have sheets and I absolutely love them. Don't spend your money on Egyptian cotton. Go to MyPillow.com and treat yourself to a nice pair of sheets. You feel so soft and cozy and comfy. You sleep like a baby. And I love MyPillow. And right now, if you order the mattress topper, you'll get 30% off, but you'll also get 2 free standard MyPillows absolutely free. 4-pack deal is still available, too, in the month of May. So go to MyPillow.com. Type Amy in the promo code. That's AMY, MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Wow, what a difference. I feel like I live in a brand new home, and it's all thanks to CertaPro Painters. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and while we are on our trip, I gave CertaPro Painters a key to my house. They came in, painted the living room, master bedroom, and it is impressive. Nothing like a fresh coat of paint to change the vibe of your house. CertaPro painters are trustworthy. Obviously, I gave them a key to my house. They're professional, talented, and they clean up their mess. It's as if they were never there. And now that summer is coming, you're going to want to hire CertaPro painters too. You know, family and friends will be over for outdoor entertainment, and you want your house to look its best. Get your porch painted or stained. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
It's not easy being a mom. The Mike Chrysler Pacifica makes soccer practice a little more fun. I can binge all my shows with the available UConnect Theater, open the Stow and Go seating to grab my hidden romance novel, or just jam out to the radio.
Hey, Mom, what was that song?
Huh? What song? I didn't hear a song.
Chrysler Pacifica. It's loaded with attitude. Chrysler is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
AM 560, The Answer.
I guess that decision by the court was actually 6-3. You had some dissents in parts, concurrences parts. Breyer, Ginsburg, and Sotomayor were all conflicted to oppose, so 6-3 decision there. A related story, U.S. Post Office lost $1.4 billion in the first quarter of this year. They've burned through $62 billion in the past decade. Volumes declined. Expenses continue to go up, mostly because of things like retiree health benefits, which surged by $750 million.
How are they hemorrhaging cash and no one's doing anything about it?
Yeah, because that's what the government does. Idea, though.
What's your idea?
So easy, so obvious.
What is the obvious answer, Dan?
Thank you, Supreme Court. Thank you, Colorado. Thank you, Washington State, for saving the post office. All post offices will feature a sports book and a marijuana dispensary. Done.
You know what? That's a great idea. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Governor Rauner calls for reinstatement of the death penalty for certain murders. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
64 degrees. Skies are cloudy this morning, and voters are heading to the polls. Primaries today in Pennsylvania, Oregon, Idaho, and Nebraska, with Republicans choosing a candidate to face off against Democrat Senator Bob Casey. And 10 are running to replace Idaho Democrat Raul Labrador, who's leaving the House to run for governor. President Trump will be having lunch with Senate Republicans today at the Capitol, talking about what they can get done before November's midterms. Residents on Hawaii's Big Island remain on edge, waiting for the possible violent eruption of Kilauea. South Africa and Turkey are withdrawing their ambassadors to Israel over the killings of dozens of protesters along the Gaza border. Missouri Republican Governor Eric Greitens is pleased that prosecutors are dropping criminal invasion of privacy charges against him.
This is a great victory, and it has been a long time coming. This experience has been humbling, and I have emerged from it a changed man.
On Friday, Missouri's legislature may have a special session to consider impeaching Greitens. The U.S. Supreme Court strikes down a federal ban on sports betting. Attorney Jeff Ifrah, founder of a law firm that focuses on gaming, and says it's about time.
I think this is a decision for the states, and that the way federalism works, the states are supposed to have the right to make these decisions. States have historically always had decisions when it comes to gaming.
New Jersey Senior Senator Bob Menendez says he's not a fan of the decision or betting, but understands people do it anyway.
And at the end of the day, I'd rather be through a system that's legalized, that we can actually monitor and license, that we can receive the proceeds from and use for good purposes.
New Jersey was one of many states that challenged the federal ruling against legalized sports betting. Search is underway to find a 3-month-old girl who went missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Police are searching for Royalty Wolf and her mother, last seen yesterday near 15th and Avers. A retired Chicago police detective accused of misconduct in the past is denying that he beat any suspects he questioned in his career. Kenneth Boudreau testified yesterday at a hearing into whether George Anderson deserves a new trial after he was convicted of murder in 1991. Thor will be swinging the green flag to start this year's Indianapolis 500. Yes, that Thor, actor Chris Hemsworth. Race managers yesterday announcing the actor who played Thor in the Marvel movies will have the honors of opening the race. Hemsworth, by the way, is a brand ambassador for Tag Heuer, the official timepiece of the Indy 500 and the Verizon IndyCar Series. Jose Bautista belts a go-ahead 3-run home run in the 5th. Braves hold on to clip the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley. Cubs and Braves now play 3 in Atlanta. The Pirates and White Sox open a 2-game series, and the Bulls find out where they will pick in the 2018 NBA draft tonight. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says, put up or shut up.
People who aren't suffering from Trump derangement syndrome are saying, show us the money, show us the collusion, because that was the whole basis for this investigation. The whole special counsel is based on that. It wasn't Paul Manafort's bank deals. All of that stuff is totally incidental and separate from the Russian collusion investigation.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Todd Pals, owner of Homewood Bat Company, a top quality baseball bat made right here in the Chicagoland area. Homewood Bat Company is all about using the best in materials and craftsmanship to create a truly remarkable baseball bat. I've been a client of Precision Payroll for a number of years, and when I started the Homewood Bat Company, I wanted them on my team. From working with me when I had 1,200 employees at another company, and now with less than 50, their service has been exceptional and their value is unrivaled. You want more runs in the game? Give Homewood Bat Company a look. You need a home run for your business? Precision Payroll should be the next call you make.
Thank you, Todd. It is so cool to see you make Americana. Precision Payroll would like to go to bat for you. Call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
.536 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Flight boards at O'Hare show about 110 cancellations today, and Midway with 9 right now. There are some additional delays. Edens is good right now. Kennedy fine. Express lanes have opened inbound. On Eisenhower, tight Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue and Demon to the Burn Circle. 33 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound, it's fine. The ramp from the outbound Ike, the outbound Ryan is scheduled to close tomorrow. That's been pushed back a day. On the Stevenson inbound, got about a 5-minute delay, Harlem to Pulaski. Got Ryan already 30 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57 in both directions at Sibley. High water in the left lane. Bishop Ford running 23 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Traffic. Service of Back to School Illinois. Back to School Illinois provides school supplies for children in need. You can help by making a donation at b2si.org. Back to School Illinois, working to improve educational opportunities for Illinois children. b2si.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. Talamonte, AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy and cooler, high near 68. Clearing and 51 overnight. Partly sunny and warmer tomorrow, high of 79. Currently 64. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So former Governor Rauner, enjoying his last few months in office, tried to split the baby yesterday.
Tried to what?
Split the baby. A Solomonic decision, or a Solomonic amendatory veto. A sop to the gun control crowd, and a sop to conservatives. Really, it's about an 80% issue in terms of public support for the death penalty. So trying to center cut on the death penalty while also providing a sop to the gun control crowd, but not going so far as the gun control wanted. So to get like Illinois State Rifle Association Rich Pearson to say, oh, this was such a great thing because he didn't make it markedly worse. On the gun control side, the change in the law under his amendatory veto, which will now be taken up by the General Assembly. Illinois, 24-hour waiting period for long guns, 72-hour for handguns. The governor's amendatory veto makes it 72-hour waiting period for all guns.
Okay.
Rifles, handguns, shotguns.
And it also bans bump stocks and trigger cranks. Now, trigger cranks, was that the name of your junior high school band?
It was.
That's what I thought.
It was a Kaja Gugu cover band. We had one song.
And it also authorizes restraining orders to disarm dangerous individuals.
Yeah, the gun control thing is the issue, though. The gun control thing, the waiting period from 24 hours to 72 hours for long guns, rifles and shotguns. So here's the thing. On the one hand, you have an argument because the language the General Assembly passed was, as usual, crap. And it put gun dealers in a terrible position because it was so unclear where you could have different, say, shotguns subjected to different waiting periods. A Mossberg was 24 hours. A Benelli was 72 hours, for example. That's how convoluted was the language in the legislation. And so and by the way, a mistake was not innocently construed. So you'd have gun dealers potentially subject to felony prosecution for making a mistake on trying to divine which similarly situated weapon had which waiting period. So there was the need to clarify that language, and the governor chose to clarify it by just extending the waiting period at 72 hours on all guns. To make it uniform. A different way would have been to say, no, we're going to keep the law exactly as it is, which is to make it no worse. Not that there should be waiting periods at all. The waiting period should be how long does it take to get a reliable background check,
right?
Rather than arbitrary hours as defined by the state. But what he could have done is say, I'm not going to make it any worse. Leave it at 72 hours for handguns, which is current, 24 hours for all long guns. I'm not giving in at all. But in this climate, because we suffer from such Stockholm syndrome here, even gun rights advocates like Illinois State Rifle Association, Rich Pearson. If you improve it a little bit to make it uniform as opposed to convoluted, even if you make it more restrictive, that's somehow a victory. We have a very curious way of defining victory in the state. So on the gun control count, for me, I know the Illinois State Rifle Association issued a statement in support of this. I'm opposed to it. And I think we have gotten too used to losing across the board when it comes to our liberties in this state. And this is an example of it. So that's on the gun control thing. I know you wanted to take up the death penalty.
Oh, yeah. He dropped pretty much a bombshell saying that he wants to reinstate the death penalty. Are you ready for this? For mass murderers and anyone who kills a law enforcement agent.
We are proposing to reinstate the death penalty in the state of Illinois for mass murderers and for those who kill law enforcement officers.
And some lawmakers think that this actually is going to make police officers safer on the street. Here's Senator Dave Severson.
Gang members are not stupid. They know the laws, and I think if they know that this is on the books, I think police officers will be safer because of it.
Yeah, there's really, the evidence is really not particularly compelling that the death penalty is a substantial deterrent. That's number one. Number two, I don't like this categories of people.
What's a mass murder? 5, 7?
No, 2 or more.
2 or more.
It's defined.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the issue of police. I don't like this idea that some people are more important than other people under the law based on their profession. I understand that there is a different exposure to risk with respect to police officers and other first responders. I respect the job. That's not the issue. The issue is equal justice before the law. And to be quite frank about it, a police officer's life is no more valuable than my life, as my life is no more valuable than Amy's life or anybody else's. So if you murder me, there are different penalties that attached than if you murder a police officer. I don't think so.
I was thinking the same thing. What if you had a family member that was murdered? I'm a proponent of the death penalty. I always have been, and I know that Governor George Ryan, he put a moratorium on executions in 2000.
He did it the wrong way, but
right.
But the system. I mean, when he did it, we were running at about 50-50 in terms of guilty versus not guilty on death row. So that's a problem with the system.
Yeah, and then Pat Quinn signed the law abolishing the death penalty in 2011. So I don't know if Rauner wanted a headline grabber here, but not one life is more important than the other. I mean, honestly, if my son got killed, I'd want the person who killed my son put to death. I'm sorry, put down like he's an animal, but he is an animal. And I would want the same rule to apply. And if they think that a law is going to stop cop killers, I think they're a little off.
Well, here's the thing.
Cop killers don't follow the laws.
Equal justice before the law, number one. And then, so that's one level of the argument. And then the other is the question of the death penalty as an available punishment. And I'm opposed to the death penalty. So I know that's a minority position, but I think the state in the business of making life and death decisions is the wrong business to employ the state.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Grant in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Hey, guys, I didn't think Rauner could make me run any further or any faster from him, but the guy's got skill at that, let's just say that. And, this mass murder thing, so with his new abortion rules, does that mean a guy who performs 2 abortions in a day is a mass murderer? The life of one is not the same as the other. So I'm writing in Jeannie Ives on my ballot, so I don't know what you guys are up to, but who knows? Maybe we could get a few votes that way. So have a good day, guys.
Thanks, Grant.
Maybe he'll appoint her at the position.
No, don't you start again.
Don't you go there, Amy J.
Rumor monger. Tom on the north side.
Hey, how are you, Dan, Amy?
Good.
You guys are 100% right as usual. Why am I so more important than any other citizen? Yet this Rauner, this nitwit, thinks this law is going to give him some votes? Come on.
You're a Chicago. You're Chicago police, Tom?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
All right.
30 years. maybe next year I'll leave because of my kids. I got one in college and one still in high school. But, yeah, this Rauner's an idiot, just like the rest of the politicians. I just can't believe that we tolerate this crap. And, Dan, one more thing.
Yeah.
About the taxes, you are 100% right, and I'm a police officer. I agree with you 100%. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip, sir. Have a great day.
Thanks for the call,
thanks,
Tom.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your service.
Well, and Tom,
stay safe out there.
I mean, Tom is obviously not immune to the pandering that's contained in this, splitting the baby and mandatory veto. But a lot of, the passively engaged, the willfully ignorant, I guess, are. I don't know. I don't know how it'll play. I don't think it'll end up being particularly important in the context of the November election. But perhaps we'll see how much the governor tries to tout it. I would suspect he won't very much. And this is just a way for him to try and work his way out of this public safety package that was sent to his desk, trying to give, trying to do what he does, be all things to all people. And so he turns out to be nothing to no one. Tom in Deer Park.
Put aside Rauner signing this for a second and just bring the whole FOID and living in Illinois in general into it. And if you currently, all your listeners that own guns that have FOIDs know what the rules are. But let's just give an example. If you have some land out of state and there's a store out of state. So right now, as an Illinois resident, when you go out of state, those rules apply. So you have to wait 3 days for a pistol or a day for a shotgun. Additionally, if you're Illinois resident out of state, you can't buy a handgun anywhere unless the dealer out of state ships it back to Illinois to a gun dealer here for a $25 or $50 fee. So who in their right mind would want to do that? But let's say you live in Wisconsin. I'm not looking at the statute here, but I think you can quote me. If you live in Wisconsin, you can go over here to Gat or Cabela's, buy that gun and walk out. Same as if you're a Wisconsin resident in that Wisconsin store. So basically, being a resident of Illinois, it's got the most onerous rules, I think, in the country. It totally penalizes you whether you're in the state of Illinois or not, and is another good reason to change your address to living in another state, whether it's Florida, Illinois, Wisconsin, or Michigan. You're just penalized because you live here. It's just another perfect example.
Thanks, Tom. Don in Arlington Heights.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Morning.
This is such an obvious pandering move from Rauner. A full disclosure, I voted for Jeannie Ives and will be writing her in, as the rest of us, or let's say a lot of us in Arlington Heights will. So if he's going to reinstate the death penalty for mass murderers and such, he should be reinstating the death penalty for the abortion doctors. Or will wifey allow him to do that? Thanks for the show. I listen every morning.
Thanks, Don.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. G.K. Chesterton observed that men do not differ much about what things they will call evils. They differ enormously about what evils they will call excusable. In D.C., what is excused depends on who is committing the evil. The standard of acceptable personal conduct is inversely proportional to one's partisan value. Ted Kennedy was indispensable, whereas Al Franken was expendable. Two different eras, yes, but consider, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg drowned a woman, do you think the left would demand her resignation and give Trump another SCOTUS nomination? The use of political capital to quantify character lays bare the hypocrisy of ruling elites, but worse, it results in the steady degradation of the rule of law by raising our tolerance level for the excesses of said ruling class. 30 years ago, Gary Hart's POTUS ambitions were felled by an affair, and Douglas Ginsburg's Supreme Court nomination derailed by a history of marijuana usage. Both would be treated as veritable Quakers by today's standards. Senator X or Governor Y is to be exempted from the laws we must follow, much less any code of common decency we may conceive. He's too important to this or that movement. Excusing evils to advance political ends steadily supplants the rule of law with the rule of men, and the rule of men with no character at that.
Okay, from the start.
The acerola cherry.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, asparagus, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli. Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
I make my Texas superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Mangosteen.
Pineapple, sweet potato.
Papaya, parsley, peach.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, all of the nutrients that we need need on a daily basis?
You know, it's been barely a week, and already my skin is better. I lost 60 pounds. I mean, that's huge.
Since I've been on Superfood, I haven't been sick.
I'm Dennis Black here in Dallas, Texas. Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit?
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Or call 877-55-TEXAS. That's 877-55-TEXAS. 877-55-TEXAS. Or
TexasSuperfood.com.
Wow, what a difference. I feel like I live in a brand new home, and it's all thanks to CertaPro Painters. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and while we are on our trip, I gave CertaPro Painters a key to my house. They came in, painted the living room, master bedroom, and it is impressive. Nothing like a fresh coat of paint to change the vibe of your house. CertaPro Painters are trustworthy. Obviously, I gave them a key to my house. They're professional, talented, and they clean up their mess. It's as if they were never there. And now that summer is coming, you're going to want to hire CertaPro Painters too. You know, family and friends will be over for outdoor entertainment, and you want your house to look its best. Get your porch painted or stained. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Do you manage a manufacturing operation that includes Allen Bradley controls that have been phased out? Innovative Control, Inc., a 25-year-old control system integrator located in Chicagoland, understands that converting to new platforms is expensive, and in many cases, a minimal return on the investment. ICI works with their customers to help find justification for these projects, adding functions for equipment efficiency calculations, real-time material consumption and tracking, the Internet of Things, and connectivity with your business system can contribute to your ROI. As part of the process, network security is a cornerstone to help protect your physical and intellectual property. ICI will meet with you and your team to understand your operations and current control system. From this review, they identify additional functions that can offset the costs, creating a return on the investment. For your company's review, contact Dave Stock at 815-529-2915 or visit ICI560.com. That's Dave Stock at 815-529-2915 or online at ICI560.com.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts. The list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are more deliciously sophisticated than ever. With so many great options, everyone will be happy.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
And your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food. Entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for the adults. There's so much to choose from.
The best company picnics start at TastyCatering.com. View picnic menus, entertainment options, picnic spots, and more. Visit TastyCatering.com. TastyCatering.com.
Every business needs great people, and the better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology finds great candidates for you. No wonder 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Goodbye post and pray. Hello ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
5:57. Let's get an update on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike Kennedy. Inbound, heavy 190 to Cumberland and Austin to Central. It's 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Edens is fine at the moment. A little heavy on westbound 190 now from the Kennedy to the Tri-State. There are some flight cancellations at O'Hare. Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge. There's high water at Sibley, blocking the left lane in both directions. Bishop 4, 25 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Traffic service of LifeLock. In today's connected world, it takes just 1 weak link. Your personal information can get into the wrong hands. Good thing new LifeLock with Norton now has protection for your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK for an extra 10% off your first year. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Patchy fog with clouds for the morning. Then clouds and sun for the afternoon. High today 70 with temperatures falling into the upper 50s by the evening. Otherwise, tonight it will turn out to be partly cloudy with a low of 51. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 degrees at O'Hare. The news service of Discover Student Loans, figuring out how to cover college costs. Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:59, here are the stories that we are following this morning on AM 560, The Answer. Search is underway to find a 3-month-old girl who went missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. A 7-year-old boy recovering after being grazed by a bullet near 118th and Morgan. A person of interest is in custody connected with a Northwest Indiana police-involved shooting. Former CPS CEO Paul Vallis lays out his strategy for combating violence in Chicago. It's a dramatic increase in the number of police officers on the street. Braves hold on to clip the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley Field. Cubs and Braves now play 3 in Atlanta. The White Sox take on the Pirates next. Currently 64 degrees. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
It's up to 59 Palestinians dead. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and there are funerals today in Gaza and more demonstrations are planned. That is along the West Bank, the day after the U.S. opened an embassy in Jerusalem.
Outraged Palestinians held mass demonstrations in protest. Monday's death toll in Gaza was the highest since a clash with Israel in 2014. More than 2,700 Palestinians were wounded.
Fox's David Lee Miller in Jerusalem. The UN Security Council will meet today. Some countries want an investigation. The White House blames Hamas. So does Republican Senator John Barrasso, who calls it
a terrorist organization. This is fully contrived by them. I think Israel has absolutely the right to do exactly what they're doing.
He and other GOP senators will have lunch today with President Trump.
The agenda with Republican senators is expected to touch on nominations, particularly confirming Gina Haspel to lead the CIA. Arizona Republican Senator John McCain, who is not expected to vote on Haspel's confirmation because of his cancer treatment, is urging colleagues to reject the nominee, saying Haspel's refusal to acknowledge torture's immorality is disqualifying. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, last night the president went to Walter Reed Medical Center where First Lady Melania Trump had surgery for what's called a benign kidney condition. He tweeted she's in good spirits. Vice President Pence said,
I'm pleased to report the procedure was a success
and Melania is already on the mend.
It costs more to do business in Seattle. The city council has voted unanimously to pass a tax that'll raise $48 million for affordable housing and homeless services.
Instead of this capitalist race to the bottom where city after city is offering ridiculous tax incentives, let's make this a race to the top and push other cities to follow our example and raise the bar for what's possible.
He supports the tax, $275 per full-time worker for big companies, Amazon and Starbucks among those that oppose it. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer, your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Your yard is not just a yard. It's a baseball diamond, a water park, a movie theater, and a grand banquet hall. Your yard is where memories are made, and you have the best seat in the house with the John Deere X350 Select Series tractor. Now equipped with the exclusive one-touch mulch control system, you can tell your clippings where to go, out to shoot, or back into your lawn with just the push of a button. Nothing runs like family, and nothing runs like a Deere. Visit your local John Deere dealer to test drive one today.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
Formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and we were talking about public safety issues as it relates to the state of Illinois with the governor's mandatory veto on gun control measures, as well as the attempt to reinstitute the death penalty for certain crimes.
For mass murders and cop killers.
More taxing power to local school districts for resource officers as it pertains to mental health and all of those issues. And part of the question, of course, is what can the state afford? At some point, you have to ask that question. I know it's not a question anybody in Springfield asks, or very few in Springfield ask, but what can the state afford? Well, you got to take a hard look at the numbers in black and white, the state's balance sheet, right? I'm looking at it per this report.
Yeah, how's it going over there?
Released by Truth in Accounting, which provides financial state, essentially a look at the financial state of the state of Illinois and the other 49 states, at least before Illinois becomes a territory, perhaps a special designation along with Puerto Rico and our other territories. The financial state of Illinois getting an F grade, which is nothing new. But for more on the details and the implications, we're pleased to be joined again by Sheila Weinberg, who's the founder of Truth and Accounting. Truthandaccounting.org is the website. Sheila, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on again. I hate to continue to be the bearer of bad news, but things in Illinois just continue to get worse.
Well, give us the gory details.
Well, the state on its audited financial report reported a $9 billion deficit. Keep in mind that there's often the point to the pension clause that we have to uphold that, but we do not seem to have to uphold the balanced budget clause of the Constitution. While the good news is our pension liabilities did go down a little bit thanks to the market, but our retiree health care benefits increased, were more than offset that because those increased by $8 billion. And unlike the pensions who have a little bit of money set aside to fund those, less than 40%, but they do have a little bit, the retiree health care benefits that have been promised have no funds set aside. And the Supreme Court, when they ruled that the pensions were constitutionally guaranteed, ruled that those unfunded retiree health care benefits were also constitutionally guaranteed.
The unfunded pension benefits went down a little bit thanks to 25% bump in the Dow explosion in the Dow last year. Unfunded pension benefits went down to only $134 billion.
Gosh.
Well, with a state annual budget or annual revenue, maybe it's a better way to look at it because the budget doesn't mean anything. The annual revenue about $37 billion. I don't know how you make up $134 billion as the liabilities continue to accrue. Even, for example, we've talked about in this show at the market return last year, you still saw, for example, the Chicago Public School Teacher Pension Fund increase its unfunded liabilities by $1 billion, even with a 15% return on the fund. So,
and they still have less than 40 cents, set aside to pay every dollar that they've promised. And I was surprised also to see that equals more than almost 8 times payroll. So think about that as laying off all the teachers for 8 years, putting all that money into the pension plan, and then they would be caught up. And to try to catch this up, for every dollar of salary paid to the teachers, 41 cents is being put into.
We have pulse attack. Sheila,
hi,
there you go. Sheila?
Yes, I'm still
okay,
here.
sorry.
All right, so 41 cents of every dollar is put into the pension, or what?
So every dollar that is teacher's salary, so they pay $1, 41 cents should be being put into the pension plan to catch it up.
So were you enlightened at all yesterday when you heard about that sports betting is pretty much legal all over the United States, and that's another taxable revenue here in the state of Illinois?
As I say, there's only 2 ways to fix this, either to bring more money in or to take less money out. The Supreme Court for the pensions has pretty much shut down the concept of taking less money out of those. So therefore, bringing more revenue in some manner is I guess is the only option now.
Well, but I mean, is there really a way to bring in the kind of revenue that would be required to make a dent in the state's liabilities? You're talking even with whatever, say hundreds of millions, $1 billion from sports gambling, let's just say, even with the dedicated pension property tax that was proposed by Daniel Bisdonor over at the Fed last week. You're just looking at the state here. In addition to that, you've got police and fire pension funds at the municipal level all over the state, like 650 of them, 60% of which are not making their required annual contribution to IMRF. To those funds. There is no way, on this mortal coil to actually come up with the revenue to fund what we're trying to fund.
Well, you would say, $216 billion is what we calculate they're in the hole. if each taxpayer in Illinois was willing to write a check for $50,800 to Springfield, or had the capacity to do that, then we would be caught up.
Right. So the median household income in Illinois is about $56,000. So all we need is everybody to write a $50,000 check, and then it's all settled. And continue to do that, by the way.
And that's just, as you mentioned, only for the state. It doesn't include, we estimate that the city of Chicago has $45,000 just for them, so you can work another year for the city of Chicago. And then, there's Cook County and the Wagler Reclamation. There's a lot of government entities in the state, and most of those are in the hole.
You're going to need to come up with a grade lower than F for Illinois.
Yes. Well, the good news. Another piece of good news is that New Jersey is worse than us. So that's the only other good news. But
New Jersey's worse.
Yeah.
So how are Illinois cities getting into pension crisis?
The cities, they have. We just finished a study on 10 suburbs in the Chicagoland area, and they have the same issue. They have been mandated by the state to pay police and fire funds. Any assets set aside to fund that are managed by the local police and firefighter boards. Those boards, by state mandate, have to be managed by 2 current police officers for Police Pension Fund, 2 retired police officer, and a financial officer. So of the government. So you have billions of dollars are being managed by people who might not have the financial wherewithal to manage those, and then there is property taxes, so they can't raise the taxes to pay these mandated pensions. So again, like the state, how they have pension liability that is 10 factors of 10 payroll, they're just in deep trouble and can't see a way out of it.
Do you think that Chicago Fed dude Mattoon did us a favor last week with his proposal? Not in so much as saying this is a proposal that should be given serious consideration, but in trying to convey an understanding of how deep the problem is and what it would take to try and start climbing your way out of it, and doing so over 30 years, the kind of pain that would have to be inflicted to sort of call the question, either dissolve or fund, either watch these things death spiral into the turf or fund, but understand what the implications of each choice is.
Yeah, what we've done is gotten into problems because, the pension funds, which are, as we know, have billions of dollars of assets and liabilities, those are being managed on political decisions, not based on necessarily financial decisions. And, are we just automatically setting ourselves up for financial disaster in that type of a system?
She is Sheila Weinberg, founder of Truth in Accounting, truthinaccounting.org. You get where you can get the financial state of Illinois and all of its horrific detail, as well as all kinds of other information about states, federal government. It's the balance sheet. It's getting the numbers accurate so people can make proper public policy decisions based on real numbers. Sheila, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Sorry about the bad news.
Okay. Someday, maybe we'll have you on for some good news talk.
Not about Illinois.
Yeah. Thanks, Sheila. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, 5 days before her fairy tale wedding, a bridesmaid's biggest nightmare. But first, oh my God, Dan's eyes are rolling back in his head. It's a big deal. He needs to get out. But first, here's your forecast for today. No rain, mainly cloudy, cooler, a high of 68 degrees. Tonight, a low of 51 under clear skies. And Wednesday, partly sunny, warmer, a high near 79. It seems the string of rain showers are behind us now. The only people that are going through it, people south of Chicago near Kankakee. There's a cell over them right now. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. There is some high water on I-57 in both directions at Sibley. The left lane is blocked, and inbound, it's stop and go from the Tri-State to Sibley. Looking at about a 3 or 4 minute delay there. The outbound side is delay-free. The Bishop Ford, 10 minutes worth of delays from the Stony Island feeder to the Rhine. The Rhine runs 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's inbound slow 2 to Montrose, 22 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. Kennedy, 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. Eisenhower, 41 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson already 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The rapid evolution of technology in industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage, from ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor. Industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For more information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. And download today.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the elite level? The Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training Program, or BEAT, is the highest level of training designed to maximize potential and develop highly skilled players. You'll learn from the Bolingbrook Golf Club's world-class instructors. They've designed practice schedules and content to maximize player development. For the athlete that aspires to compete and train at the highest levels, check out BEAT, Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training. More info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Dan Proft here, and I'm joined by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, homeloanexpert.com. And everybody knows the housing market is en fuego. That means hot. But how do you take advantage of it? That's why we have an expert here. His name's Ryan Kelly, as I just mentioned, and he's going to tell us. Ryan?
Well, I appreciate it. Let me jump on, Dan, and you're exactly right. The housing market is hot, and homes are selling fast. You know, if you're thinking about selling your house, that's great. Just put a for sale sign in the yard, make up a price, and it should go fairly quick. If you're thinking about buying a home, it's never been more important to make sure you're working with a strong mortgage lender. Believe me when I tell you, you are not the only person watching those same streets, those same neighborhoods, the same school districts, waiting for the house to come on the market. There's a lot of people out there waiting for that same house. So make sure you're prepared. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. That's thehomeloanexpert.com. Thanks, Dan. The Home Loan Expert, LLC, Tennessee Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Having debt does put stress on a marriage, on your health.
It just starts mounting up, especially with the interest. It just goes up. So I could definitely see there was stress in Lindsay, and that would spill over into our relationship and how we related to each other.
Ben and Lindsay called nonprofit Christian credit counselors to stop the creditor calls, lowered their interest rate, and get one monthly payment they could afford.
Our situation's definitely improved, and it's such a difference to not borrow to get things and you actually save to get them. It's a liberating feeling.
At Christian Credit Counselors, your freedom from debt is their #1 priority. On average, their clients become debt-free up to 80% faster.
It's definitely freedom.
See how much Christian Credit Counselors can save you. Call a personal credit counselor for your free no-obligation debt analysis. Call 800-557-1985. Your journey to financial freedom begins now. Call 800-557-1985 or visit ChristianCreditCounselors.org. ChristianCreditCounselors.org. Call 800-557-1985.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we'll get to your royal wedding nonsense in a second. Hold on. Larry from Bartlett has an important point here to make. So we'll have a little bit more Adult Swim, then we'll go to Amy.
Okay, great.
Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Dan, I am really surprised at you that you don't credit CPS for doing such a fabulous job. With all of our graduates who can barely read, who have absolutely no math skills, they're not capable of understanding all of this budget stuff that all those Republicans worry about. So they just live there fat, dumb, and happy and listen to their aldermen and their representatives, and they just keep voting for them.
Well, thanks for the call, Larry. And a lot of Republicans do that, too, by the way. And in Illinois, it's a bipartisan illness.
Oh, yes, that's true. But, of course, I'm obsessed with this royal wedding. Did you hear the big news yesterday? Meghan Markle's father, 5 days before this royal wedding, which the whole world is watching. People are even renting out theater space to watch this live.
Not the whole world.
Well, a lot of us ladies are going to be watching this. And you have a guilty pleasure. You might turn on just to see what her wedding dress looks like. Or something. She's a Northwestern grad. She's a Kappa Kappa Gamma, my sorority sister.
Yeah, I know her from Suits.
Yeah, she's a great actress, and she's hot, okay?
Well, great actress. I didn't say that. I said I know her from Suits.
Well, apparently Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, staged some paparazzi pictures and got some cash on the side. He was sick of, the paparazzi kept taking pictures of him walking out of the convenience store with a six-pack and talking about, the tire around his belly. So I guess according to his other sister, they plan to have this paparazzi shoot him in a nicer light. Him walking, getting ready, getting in shape for the wedding, him reading a book about Britain, him on, looking online to see the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. But it was all staged, and he got busted because...
Busted for what? He took some stage photos for the Daily Mail or something, so what?
That's frowned upon by the royal family.
Oh, is it frowned upon by the welfare queens of Buckingham Palace?
Yes, it is. And
this guy can't make money, but they can live fat and happy off everybody else?
I know. I feel so bad for him because
he
announced yesterday that he is not going to be going to his daughter's wedding. He is not going to be walking his daughter down the aisle. And now he's claiming to TMZ that he suffered a heart attack 6 days ago, and he checked himself out of the hospital in order to attend the royal wedding. So it's a bit of a hot mess, but Stephanie Markle, his other daughter, Meghan's half-sister, said that she's the one who influenced her dad, talked him into paying the paparazzi for the pictures.
I have to say I am entirely the culprit. And I said, the world has no idea that you're getting in shape, you're doing healthy things. They don't photograph you buying vegetables and pH water. They photograph you in as unflattering ways as they can. So I said, really, you need to show the world that you're getting in shape and doing great healthy things. So I suggested it, and it was, there's a lot of scrutiny that it was money motivated. It was not.
So the paparazzi paid him.
Yeah. They paid him.
Yeah.
And there's surveillance video of the paparazzi showing him where to sit. And
God, who cares?
Now it's 4 days before the royal wedding. Who's going to walk her down the aisle?
Can we get
Prince Harry?
Chicago Morning Answer clock on the stream like CNN does for the countdown?
CNN has learned that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are very concerned about the pressure Thomas Markle is under, and they want the media to give him some space. They've also learned that though Markle is upset about what has transpired, her feelings about her father giving her away on Saturday hasn't changed since the photographs were published. So basically, he's the one who's backed out. She's in seclusion right now.
Why doesn't
having deeply personal moments?
Blah, blah, blah. Why didn't Prince Harry just marry Kate Middleton?
Kate Middleton's taken.
Her brother. What are you talking about? This is the 21st century. This is 2018. You can just civilly union your brother's wife. What's wrong with that?
They do all live next door.
And
to each other,
it's like generations of inbreeding anyway. What's the difference?
Well, this is so weird because remember Queen Elizabeth? She wouldn't let Prince Margaret marry Peter Townsend because he was divorced. And so they've changed all the rules. Well, Meghan Markle was married for about 7 years.
Holy
She was married before to a Hollywood producer. And what? Why is it making your skin crawl talking about this? I just think that Prince Harry should get out.
Get out. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out! Yo, 有燒未？燒未啊！燒！
Nobody in the royal family says yo.
So you're not going to be watching.
That was all for that drop? Is that what the last 5 minutes of my life was for? A run up to that?
Prince Harry should get out. It's okay to cut the cord and look for maybe somebody from your own country.
What are you talking? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is a bit of Anglo supremacy.
I just think that this is the ultimate. If you're a Hollywood starlet or
He
a
doesn't have any
Hollywood
hair.
starlet wannabe,
He's got to get
this is the ultimate role for you to have.
Well, he's got to get the Joe Madden field planted in his head. Did you see him? He's lucky to get Merkel, whatever her name is.
Meghan Markle.
He's marrying the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel? Is that right?
No.
I'm not following this.
Meghan Markle.
Oh.
36 years
Right, from
old.
Suits, yeah.
Hopefully she can, have children. I don't know. I just think that this is that they rushed into this because it was a long distance relationship, and now they're living together. And long distance relationships normally don't work out.
Is Elton John gonna pen a song about Meghan Markle? Or is that too soon? Is that Candle in the Wind? Is that too soon?
Too soon. Who's gonna?
No, that was Marilyn Monroe. Or was that Lady Di?
I thought it was Lady Di.
I don't remember. It was Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. Norma Jean. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They could pen a song about Merkel or Prince Harry.
Maybe you could go there and walk her down the aisle.
Rick in Downers Grove, please help.
That's the reason this country has so many problems it has. There's so many people concerned about garbage like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling good until about 5 minutes ago. Now I got a splitting headache and I'm nauseous.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for the call, Rick.
Oh, the hyperbole. You guys are all going to watch. And if you're not watching, you're going to sneak a peek to see what she was wearing because she was on Suits and she is good looking.
Is that
so? Just admit it, Mike Scott. I know you are. Don't, as a newsman.
I've never seen an episode of Suits, and I could.
Suits is pretty good.
Care less.
Could not care less.
Could not care less.
Yeah.
Seriously, no.
Thank you, grammar
is
police.
Prince Charles going to show up in that? Is he going to show up in that little Lord Fauntleroy suit they outfit him in?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
This is you guys, this is billions of dollars. And security alone,
that makes it better.
$20 million.
Boring.
Thank you.
Look, the National Health Service, the vaunted National Health Service in Britain is bankrupt. And how much money are they spending on security on this?
$20 million that we know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bankrupt health insurance and health care system royal wedding.
Let's pay attention to this, but when that National Health Service, NICE, as its Orwellian acronym indicates, when they murder Alfie Evans, then don't pay any attention.
Well, I'm going to be watching, and I'll watch for you and let you know what kind of dress she was wearing.
All right.
Is it Vera Wang or not?
All right. Call Marcus. Take Monday off. Got it. All right. Thanks.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The disparity fallacy when it comes to race relations at 6:36. The conversation gets re-elevated. Come back.
But first, let's go into the newsroom to newsman Mike Scott.
We have been watching Jerusalem and the West Bank this morning, where there are calls for a general strike today, one day after the opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. The general strike would happen in Gaza and the West Bank to protest the deaths of dozens in Gaza. White House spokesman Raj Shah is blaming Hamas for provoking yesterday's deadly violence in the Gaza Strip.
Hamas is intentionally and cynically provoking this response. And as the Secretary of State said, Israel has the right to defend itself.
More than 50 were killed in confrontations with Israeli forces, and there are fears today could be another deadly day. It's primary day in 4 states. Voters heading to the polls in Pennsylvania, Oregon, Idaho, and Nebraska. Seattle's largest businesses are targeted in a new tax that aims to stem the city's homeless problem. Seattle City Council approving the tax on businesses that will gross at least $20 million, they say, per year in the city. First Lady Melania Trump recovering after a medical procedure yesterday. The White House says the First Lady underwent an embolization procedure for a benign kidney condition. She will likely stay at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center through the end of the week. People on the big island of Hawaii still on edge, waiting for possible violent eruptions in Kilauea. The volcano has been opening cracks, 18 of them in the earth, spewing lava and toxic gas for more than a week, destroying homes and prompting evacuations. The U.S. Supreme Court strikes down a federal ban on sports betting. Attorney Jeff Ifrah, founder of a law firm that focuses on gaming, says it's about time.
I think this is a decision for the states, and that the way federalism works, the states are supposed to have the right to make these decisions. States have historically always had decisions when it comes to gaming.
New Jersey had challenged the ban, claiming it was unfair that gambling on sports had been allowed in Nevada and a few other states. The search is underway this morning to find a 3-month-old girl who went missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Police say Royalty Wolf was last seen near 15th and Avers. A 7-year-old boy recovering after being grazed by a bullet on Chicago's far south side. It happened as the child was sitting in a vehicle yesterday when the driver got out and into an argument with someone at a gas station. Former CPS CEO Paul Vallas laying out his strategy for combating violence in Chicago if elected mayor next year.
A lack of resources and support is severely undermining the police department's ability to stem the violence.
Speaking yesterday, Vallas says his plan would include boosting the total number of police officers in the city to 14,000, restoring the detective number to 1,200. The actress who played Lois Lane in the original Superman movie has passed away. Margot Kidder died Sunday in Montana. Causes unknown. She was 69. Kidder starred with the late Christopher Reeve in the 1978 superhero film and its 3 sequels. Braves beat the Cubs 6-5. Cubs and Braves now switch to Atlanta for a 3-game set beginning tonight. White Sox open a 2-game series against the Pirates. The news is a service of Napa. Nothing like a little bit of rain to remind you that it's time to change your windshield wipers. Luckily, you're a quick stop away at Napa from new wiper blades and streakless windshields. So stop by your local Napa this month for great deals on Napa Exact Fit wiper blades. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains it's okay to disagree sometimes.
See, Reagan was wise. The person who agrees with you 80% of the time is an ally, not a 20% traitor. That is good. That's how you have to think. The only people that agree with me all the time are me.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
For years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Now that same experience is available for your daughter. With summer vacation right around the corner, now is a great time to register your son or daughter for summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful region of southeast Wisconsin. It's a time to refocus from the distractions of life and explore the potentials in many areas of life. There's Camp St. John's Northwestern with 4 one-week sessions of outdoor activities for 10 to 16-year-olds, and summer school for 5 weeks to recover credits or get ahead for full credit. Limited registration for co-ed summer camp is happening now, as well as the year-round school application process. Hurry, space is limited. For more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
6:36, and let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Seeing some high water on I-57 inbound. Hit stop and go 167th to Sibley, where the left lane is blocked with the water in both directions. It's 30 minutes, I-80 to the Verge, outbound fine at 15. Bishop Ford, 24 minutes, 80-94 to the Rhine. And the Rhine has delays from the Merge to 76th, and from the Stevenson to the Circle, it's 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Aiden's 27 minutes, Lake Hook to the Junction, outbound 20. Kennedy, 39 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35. The Eisenhower's 50 minutes from 390 to the Circle, outbound 34. Stevenson, already an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36 minutes. Northbound Tri-State slows Southwest Highway to 87th. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy approaching 53. There's a stall there blocking 2 right lanes. Traffic is the service of Amtrak. What if there was a car that could breeze through traffic? There isn't, but there is Amtrak. You can sit in comfort, not in traffic. And now save more too. Save 20% when you book 14 days in advance at Amtrak.com. Restrictions apply. Amtrak. See where the train can take you. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Mainly cloudy and cooler today. High near 68, clearing in 51 overnight. Currently, we have 65 at O'Hare, 63 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Teray. Remember Teray? He was one of these fungible MSNBC talking heads.
Okay.
He's got a piece in Daily Beast. Dear white people, I'm scared of you. Almost all of you have a superpower that I'm in fear of. You have the power to call the police and be automatically believed, even if I'm in a suit. Whiteness gets the benefit of the doubt, and you have this power available to you all the time, regardless of what I'm doing. Even if I'm not committing a crime, you can call the police and be believed and put my life in danger.
Hooray!
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line on Teray's belief in this superpower that whites possess. Related story, this is a good story about a police officer, and it's a black-white story as well, since we don't get to tell as many of those because they're not publicized, these kind of, everyday acts of heroism and just helping your fellow human being. It's worth pointing out, this comes to us from the Federalist. Florida canine officer Jeremy Nix saved the life of a 3-month-old baby named Kingston on Wednesday.
I watched that.
You watched the video?
I watched the video yesterday. I got teary-eyed.
The 3-month-old baby was in a car with his mom, and he was unresponsive. Near Ocala, which is about an hour north of Orlando. She sees a cop. She flags him down. This is Jeremy Nix. He runs to the car. She hands the baby to him. He tries to perform some resuscitating
it looks like he's trying
techniques.
to clear her pipe at first, and then tries to perform CPR, and then it's not working. So he gets into his vehicle and turns on sirens and speeds off and goes straight to the emergency room.
That's right. And the good news is the baby okay. Nicole posting on Facebook, let me just say that yesterday God showed me just how real he was. My son Kingston, was barely breathing and fighting for his life. My sister and I noticed an officer sitting at a red light, and we got his attention. With his fast thinking, he and God saved my son. After his shift, he and his beautiful wife came to just see him again. His word to me was, "Don't you worry, I will not leave until I help save your son." God had me in the right place because he knew you needed me. Thank you, Officer Jay Nix from the Ocala Sheriff's Office K-9 Unit. I just wanted the world to know how great this officer is and how great God is. Not all officers are bad. He's one of the many good guys. King and I will forever appreciate you.
And did you see the pictures of him holding the baby, holding King in his arms in the NEEC unit at the hospital? It will make you cry.
Yeah, he's a big white dude who looks like Telly Savalas.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
Right? Okay.
Holding this little young child.
And so, and these are the things that occur, I have no doubt, occur on a daily basis all over the country. But we have to instead obsess about what Touré has to say about white superpowers, our three-digit superpower. And it brings me to this really interesting piece in Quillette by a Columbia undergrad. I mean, this is a remarkable piece for an undergrad to write. Coleman Hughes is his name. He's an undergraduate philosophy major at Columbia. And the piece is called "The Racism Treadmill." And he takes on the sainted Ta-Nehisi Coates when it comes to race issues in America. He's a MacArthur Genius recipient, Genius Grant is recipient, and all of these things celebrated. He's brought around the country to all the liberal virtue signaling and white guilt-afflicted groups to offer his pronouncements on race relations in America. And he argues that the statement that Ta-Nehisi Coates is want to make, racial progress, is based on a faulty premise. And Mr. Hughes is right. Ta-Nehisi Coates' statement, I could see, this on racial progress, I could see that some 50 years after the Civil Rights Movement, black people could still be found at the bottom of virtually every socioeconomic metric of note. When I see racial disparities, as Ibram Kendi writes, who's sort of a Ta-Nehisi Coates ally. When I see racial disparities, I see racism. Okay. That's the disparity fallacy. The disparity fallacy holds that unequal outcomes between two groups must be caused primarily by discrimination, whether overt or systemic. And what Mr. Hughes points out is that Ta-Nehisi Coates and the other race hustlers don't apply that too broadly. They apply too narrowly. Because when blacks outperform whites, there's never the invocation of discrimination as a causal factor. For example, a New York Times, a study by researchers at Stanford, Harvard, and the Census Bureau that was reported in the New York Times found, among other things, black women have higher college attendance rates than white women and higher incomes than white women, conditional on parental income. So among those who grow up in families with comparable incomes, black women, higher college attendance rates than white men, higher incomes than white women, with the control on parental income. So it says something about stability of family and success of family. The fact that black women outperform their white counterparts in these measures is not attributed to the punishing reach of racism against whites, is it? So how would the race hustlers that you want to hear from populate the airwaves to the exclusion of thinkers and actual academics like the Thomas Sowells of the world? How would they explain that? 94 New York Times article reported that among college graduates, again, so you control for education, black women earn slightly more money than white women did. Thomas Sowell, speaking of him, pointed out that as early as 1980, U.S. Census data showed black college-educated couples out-earning their white counterparts. In point of fact, if you go back and look at Sowell's other research on the topic, The Great Economist, black unemployment rates were lower than that of whites in 1890 and for the last time in 1930. So I would suggest that even Ta-Nehisi Coates would have to admit that we've come a long way baby since 1890 and 1930. So something else must be at play. Maybe it has something to do with the family structure. Maybe it has something to do with government destroying the black family through the predatory welfare state. But it's just fascinating. Sol argues that we're getting to this ludicrous point in our culture now where people are responsible for things that happened before they were alive, and other people aren't responsible for the things they do while they're alive. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. That's the entire argument of race identity politics from the left. That's what white privilege is about. Sol writes from his 2010 book, Intellectuals and Society, "There's surely no more profound difference between human beings than the difference between the dead and the living. Yet even that difference is glided over verbally when speaking of races as intertemporal abstractions of whom the current living generation is just the latest embodiment. This is useful to intellectuals who tend to conceive of social issues in terms of which allow the intelligentsia to be on the side of the angels against the forces of evil. When they're unable to find enough contemporary grievances to suit their vision or agenda, they mine from the past for harm inflicted by some members on others." Yeah, this kind of society is one in which a newborn baby enters the world supplied with prepackaged grievances against other babies born the same day. That's a great way to put it. And that's exactly what this is. And so you get Touré talking about white people in general, born the same day Touré was born, who have this power, this superpower, such that he should be afraid of white people because they could dial 3 numbers at the drop of a hat and endanger his life. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you need to share and level up so that more people have exposure to it, so you can expose the race hustlers of the left, the Jesse Jacksons and all of his proteges, for what they are, and improve. And that's a way to improve race relations in this country. Point to the example of that cop and the mom in Florida, and expose the scam that they're running. It's just not that difficult because it's not that sophisticated a scam.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, our First Lady is waking up at Walter Reed Hospital this morning. Update on her condition. But first,
and a conspiracy theory you'd like to share.
Oh, yes. Because I spoke with a nephrologist yesterday. Oh, we'll explain what a nephrologist is coming up. But first, your forecast, mainly cloudy today. Cooler. There are some showers way south of Chicago and Kankakee County. They should be moving out soon. Tonight's going to be clear, a low of 51. And then we have a string of gorgeous days. Are you ready for this? Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's going to be partly sunny, warmer, 79. Wednesday, Thursday, 78. Friday, 80. And by the weekend, we're going to be in the mid-80s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is the one and only Jim Talamonte.
Well, thank you, Amy. Good morning. Morning, Dan. Eden's inbound. Pretty heavy. Gulf to the junction. 33 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 22 at the Kennedy. Now 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 22 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 44 minutes to the airport. There are flight cancellations this morning. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 39 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. There's high water at Sibley in the left lane. Eastbound Adams Tollway at 53. 2 right lanes are blocked with a stall. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Xerox scrapping a multi-billion-dollar deal with Fujifilm. Starbucks scrapping its customers-only restroom policy. And Nissan profits plunge almost by a third. Those stories next.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. HomeAdvisor can help get you started. HomeAdvisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. HomeAdvisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
HomeAdvisor.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper in credit card debt? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management will consolidate your accounts and work with your creditors. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
In the wake of the arrest of two black men who asked to use the restroom at a Philadelphia Starbucks, the embattled coffee chain is abandoning its customers-only restroom policy. Xerox has pulled the plug on a $6 billion deal with Japan's Fujifilm, handing control of Xerox instead to billionaire Carl Icahn. Xerox claimed Fujifilm had been dragging its feet in meeting terms of the deal. Fujifilm says it may head to court over the Xerox decision. Economic reports today include updates on April retail sales, March business inventories, and an index on the housing market. Japan's Nissan Motors blaming rising cost of raw materials and research for a 32% decline in its profits last quarter. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Your business is moving fast. It has to. Competition is stronger than ever. You've got a lot to deal with to keep your business moving forward. But there are some things you should delegate to others. It's the only way to concentrate on what you do best and for your business to thrive. What Turnkey IT does best is take care of every aspect of your computer and IT systems. When you go all in, they become a partner in your business's success. Your staff doesn't have time or the resources to keep up on the latest computer and software upgrades, potential threats, or know when it's time to upgrade equipment. That's what Turnkey IT's all-in small business package is for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and more. Plus, new hardware every 4 years. Whether your business is 1 person or 200, keep it moving in the fast lane. Go all in with Turnkey IT by your side.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for upstream-ideas.com. G.K. Chesterton observed that men do not differ much about what things they will call evils. They differ enormously about what evils they will call excusable. In D.C., what is excused depends on who is committing the evil. The standard of acceptable personal conduct is inversely proportional to one's partisan value. Ted Kennedy was indispensable, whereas Al Franken was expendable. Two different eras, yes, but consider, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg drowned a woman, do you think the left would demand her resignation and give Trump another SCOTUS nomination? The use of political capital to quantify character lays bare the hypocrisy of ruling elites, but worse, it results in the steady degradation of the rule of law by raising our tolerance level for the excesses of said ruling class. 30 years ago, Gary Hart's POTUS ambitions were felled by an affair, and Douglas Ginsburg's Supreme Court nomination derailed by a history of marijuana usage. Both would be treated as veritable Quakers by today's standards. Senator X or Governor Y is to be exempted from the laws we must follow, much less any code of common decency we may conceive. He's too important to this or that movement. Excusing evils to advance political ends steadily supplants the rule of law with the rule of men, and the rule of men with no character at that.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Dan Proft here with Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. And while interest rates have ticked up a bit, they're still at relatively historic lows. So maybe a good time to refinance, particularly you build up equity in the house and you want to see what you can do to fully leverage that. So, Ryan, thinking about refinancing as a possibility or something to explore, how should people consider that?
Great question, Damon. Thanks for letting me join you. Home values have been skyrocketing. It's everywhere. It's in the news feeds. It's out there. And you now have a ton of equity you didn't have just a year ago. And as you said, mortgage interest rates are still low. So what does that mean? It means you have options. You know, one of the biggest calls that we get here at the Home Loan Expert office is, I've got some credit cards. They piled up through the holidays or maybe with the kids in school and all that. And people are looking to do a cash-out refinance and pay off those credit cards. Cash-out refinance with the Home Loan Expert office is just as easy as a normal refinance, but we don't stop there. We get you the lower rate. We get you the cash you need to pay off those credit cards once and for all. Apply for a cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh. It's my favorite. I saw every Superman movie multiple times. Ready? Here we go. Crescendo. Margot Kidder passed away yesterday, and who could forget the chemistry between Lois Lane and Superman?
Don't move! Sure you can move. Just don't fly away, all right?
Oh, she was a wonderful actress. I mean, she survived a lot of personal tragedy. Remember, she got in a severe car accident in the late 90s, and she suffered from bipolar disorder, and she spent a lot of time, you know, trying to help others.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
It's the greatest line. You've got me. Who's got you?
People don't remember because of so much fame associated with Superman, but she was good in some horror films too. Black Christmas, Amityville Horror.
Oh, that's right. She was in Amityville Horror. Well, she died at age 69 at her home in Montana. Cause of death, we still has not been reported yet. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll check the status of Zod to make sure he's still alive, and we'll also pick up Supreme Court's first consequential ruling of the term on sports betting at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Paul Vallis lays out a plan for combating Chicago violence. Governor Otter proposes a limited death penalty. The NBA draft lottery is tonight, and the Braves clip the Cubs. Cloudy and cooler mainly today. High near 68. WIND, Chicago News Time 7.
More Palestinian protests. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's in the West Bank. The day after demonstrations against the U.S. opening an embassy in Jerusalem, 59 protesters were killed, 2,700 injured at the Gaza border, where Fox's Benjamin Hall is.
They are still gathering at the fence, not as much as we saw them yesterday, and for the moment it's quiet. Yesterday, 40,000 Palestinians came to the Israeli-Gaza border, and they were running up and down, the IDF saying that they tried to launch a number of cross-border raids. They were pushed back by the IDF, but they were armed sometimes with Molotov cocktails and stones. The Israeli forces responding with live fire.
The UN Security Council will discuss that today. Some countries are criticizing the use of force. The U.S. supports Israel. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
There was barely any mention of the Gaza violence at Monday's lavish inauguration ceremony for the new embassy in Jerusalem, an upgraded consular building located just 50 miles away. White House spokesman Raj Shah blamed the terror group Hamas.
Hamas is intentionally and cynically provoking this response. And as the Secretary of State said, Israel has the right to defend itself.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu joined an American delegation of Trump administration officials and Republican and evangelical Christian supporters at the embassy opening. Dave?
John Daca will be back in court today as the Trump administration appeals a federal judge's ruling blocking the president's order to end the Obama program that protected some immigrants brought here illegally as kids. 2 other judges have also blocked it. President Trump tweeted the First Lady's in good spirits after Melania Trump had surgery for what's called a benign kidney condition. The polls are open in Pennsylvania and one of 4 states holding primaries.
Republicans are running on prosperity and a positive spin on what President Trump has been doing.
She's worried the state Supreme Court's decision redrawing congressional districts will help Democrats flip seats in November. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago, 65 degrees at 7:02. Cloudy skies on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, and here are the stories we're following this morning. Search is underway to try and find a missing infant, a 3-month-old girl who went missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Royalty Wolf was last seen near 15th and Avers, and police tell us the child may be in danger. Amazon is planning to bring a cashierless store to Chicago. The e-commerce giant confirming that Amazon Go stores would open in Chicago and San Francisco, but did not specify when. Former CPS CEO Paul Vallas laying out his strategy for combating violence in Chicago if elected mayor next year.
A lack of resources and support is severely undermining the police department's ability to stem the violence.
Speaking yesterday, Vallas says his plan would include boosting the total number of police officers to 14,000. Chicago Park District shutting off 200 water fountains due to concerns over lead. Spokesperson telling the Tribune the spigots have lead detection greater than the maximum allowed by federal law. The spokesperson also says the fountains are considered low traffic. Governor Bruce Rauner says it's time to bring back the death penalty in certain cases. We get the explanation from AM 560's David Stewart.
Governor Rauner is using an veto to introduce 6 gun measures, including reinstating the death penalty for mass murderers and those who kill police. Rauner denied that using a mandatory veto instead of the normal legislative procedure is designed to put death penalty opponents in a political bind.
I don't believe that this is anything other than very good policy, widely supported by the people of Illinois, and I think by elected representatives.
Rauner also wants a 72-hour waiting period for all guns and the right to temporarily take guns from a person posing an imminent danger. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Chicago sports. Jose Bautista belts a go-ahead 3-run home run in the 5th. Braves clipped the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley. Cubs and Braves now move on to play 3 in Atlanta. The Bulls find out where they will pick in the 2018 NBA draft tonight. The White Sox open up a 2-game series against the Pirates, and the Bears sign 5 out of rookie minicamp, including Simeon grad Matt Fleming. The news service of Staples. Staples knows running out of ink is no way to do business. Help keep your business working and your printers printing. Go to Staples for a huge selection of ink and toner and find your ink in stock every time and at a low price every day so you can meet every deadline. Staples. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
7:07 on AM 560, The Answer. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delay start at Gulf Road. It's 33 minutes, like Cook Junction, outbound 23. Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 22 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 22 minutes to Montrose, 44 to the airport. About Eisenhower Jam, North Avenue to the Tri-State, and 25th to the Circle. An hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. 45 minutes from Manheim, outbound 39 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 48 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 42 minutes to 355. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge with high water at Sibley in the left lane. Bishop Ford at 40 minutes. Tri-State delays are northbound Southwest Highway to 87. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. But Adams Tollway stop and go from before Roselle to 53 with a stall blocking 2 right lanes. The northbound Veterans Oil is tight Findlay to before St. Charles. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. It comes to us from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy today with some sun for the afternoon, high 70. Partly cloudy night, low 51. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high 76. Clear to partly cloudy at night with a low 56. Partial sunshine Thursday, high 78. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
65 in clouds. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and I got some good news for you gambling scofflaws. No more need to patronize Fat Tony thanks to the Supreme Court decision yesterday.
You mean Fat Tony on Wabash?
You're getting street legal.
Thank you.
In a 6-3 decision, the United States Supreme Court overturned federal ban on sports gambling, so it won't be long, you can rest assured, before you'll see sports books in casinos in Illinois, maybe even, suggestion, we were talking to Mike Scott about it off the air, that they'll be like they have in Britain at soccer matches, just windows at places like Soldier Field to bet on sports at the game.
Right, like who's going to score first in the second half, things like that. Mark Cuban was rejoicing because he said that they're going to set up a kiosk, at the Dallas Mavericks games to take bets.
Yeah, it's not just going to be prop bets. Right. Obviously, it would be the range.
Oh yeah, I know prop bets too.
But it would be. So you turn all of your multi-purpose sports stadiums into sports books, in addition to featuring them at the casinos, probably.
And Justice Alito said this, could be a moral issue, and it's not for the courts to decide. It's up for the individual states to decide.
So the right on the constitutional law, the Federalist argument, Alito writing the majority opinion. You excited for sports gambling to come to Illinois? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, it's a new revenue to tax. I mean, we could make millions, if not $1 billion, off of this ruling. My thing is, as a taxpayer, I'm not a gambler, but I'm worried that this money is going to go into fraudulent politicians' hands. I mean, what are they going to do with this stream of revenue? Are they going to pay off unfunded pensions? Is it going to go toward education? Is it going to go for infrastructure programs? I mean, what are they going to use this money for? What do you think?
I think that
I have one more thinking.
I think that we have $9 billion in unpaid bills.
So $9 billion.
So this is. You think this is going to alter? I mean, the idea that it starts from the premise that what we have is a revenue problem. We just need to get more and more sources of revenue, figure out new and exciting ways to separate people from their money. Gambling, state-sponsored gambling being one of them, the lottery, the casinos, etc.
Well, $150 billion was spent last year on gambling.
Yes, nationally. Yeah.
How many of those are Illinoisans?
So the point is that it's not a revenue problem. It's putting government in an adversarial position with respect to its constituents. It's predatory government, the same way red light cameras are, the same way the lottery is. Right? These are the predatory government policies to extract from your back pocket what they can't take from your front pocket. Now, I have no moral opposition to gambling. I am one to partake in games of chance from time to time.
Yes, that's right.
So it's not that, but I mean, I recognize what the scam is and who's getting the skim. So let's not delude ourselves. Let's not celebrate it. I mean, I'll enjoy it. I'll go to a sports book if I go see the Bears. Well, I don't know why I would go see the Bears, or the White Sox or something. Yeah, will I place a bet? Sure. Why not? Fun, make it more interesting, especially if I'm going to a Sox game. It's not like I'm in a pennant chase.
And then they tax you on your winnings? No, so if you win $10,
have you never been to a casino?
I don't gamble.
You gambled. You gambled on the Kentucky Derby.
That was a mistake. I wanted $5 total, not $45.
Yeah.
To win, place, or show. That was bad.
Well,
I regret that because I don't gamble, and that's why I don't gamble, because I don't do well with numbers.
I don't do
math on days that end with Y.
Good example of predatory government victimizing the Amy Jacobsons of the world.
But you and I have made, friendly bets, and I've won.
There's nothing friendly about them.
I won 1 out of 9. I think you bought me a stack of volleyballs once.
Yeah, I think I did.
And we appreciate that because now our program's better because of you.
Well, so
undefeated, by the way.
You're very welcome.
6th and 7th and 8th boys volleyball.
There's nothing that gambling can cure.
Exactly.
It's a panacea for all societies.
But you own the Blaine volleyball franchise.
That's true. Now. I did take over that franchise. You lost that in another bet. So I got my volleyballs back and then some. And that's how gambling works. But in terms, it's just like a sports book in Vegas. So they just take VIG. Right. I mean, but it obviously, just like casino operators, it'll be a windfall of revenue for the state because the operators are going to be taxed. Mark in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I hope this decision takes place right away because this is a great year to bet against the White Sox.
Not with the money lines that you're facing. You want to, they're going to win 1 out of 3 games. You want to have to lay 400 to win 100 because that's the kind of money lines you're getting with the White Sox. Not a good bet, Mark. Thanks for the call.
I don't even know what you're talking
about.
Money lines?
But what Mark was really trying to do is make fun of the White Sox, and I don't appreciate that.
Oh, does that hurt? Is that painful?
That's why I schooled him on the
money
gambling
lines.
of it. You should have been betting the Sox for the first month of the season. Now, the market's caught up. Get with it, buddy. Jack in LaPorte.
Morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
They're going to use the money for beautiful flower pots and planters along the streets, and they're going to use the money for sanctuary cities.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Rams windfall.
Thanks, Jack.
I actually like the flower pots that are in the medians.
You're right. Jack, you have to understand. In Chicago,
the regentrification of Chicago.
We will pay any price for those planters.
They are.
There is no price too high for planters and wrought iron fencing in Chicago.
Irving Park and Ashland, that intersection is beautiful now because of those
planters. It's gorgeous.
No, it is.
I don't care what the price is. It could be $1 trillion.
We look like a European city now.
Oh, exactly. We're soon becoming the city of light.
Paris.
Ram's vision. It's great.
Riverfront's going to be great. They have pop-up wine houses along the river.
What
could go wrong?
This is Xanadu. This is what Coleridge was writing about. We're living it, folks.
We're going to go kayaking down the Chicago River.
Avoid the homeless bodies. Cindy and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Dan, I love you, of course. That's why I listen forever, because you're the voice of reason. And I want you to get Amy to snap out of it with the money to education, because we already know the lottery money goes to education.
Yeah.
No need for that to happen.
Correct.
And
that's right.
I just think, they could, Cullerton and Amana can refunnel the money into buying their own tickets and not have to use campaign contributions for all these sports events. It's only over $1 million that they spend. So, it'll go to good cause. Don't worry about that. And some flowers.
Thanks for the call, Cindy. I mean, I've proposed back in the day, having the casinos take over the schools and fund them directly.
Oh.
Do
when you were running for governor? Was that your plan?
No, this was before. This was when Rod Blagojevich proposed statewide Keno.
What's Keno? I'm sorry.
Okay. It's a very difficult conversation to have with a non-gambler.
I don't understand these money lines in Keno. It sounds like a...
No, I'm persuaded.
Is that something you eat?
I'm persuaded that you don't understand. You've convinced me.
What's Keno? Is that what you have after dinner? Is it an after dinner drink?
Yeah, it's a digestif.
I don't know. All right, I'll Google it. How do you spell it? Keno.
I thought you knew everything about Rod Blagojevich and all his wonderful ideas and accomplishments. Mike in Crown Point.
Morning. If I recall back when the lottery was getting justified in the state of Indiana, the politicians told us that the proceeds would pay for all the public schools. They would lower our property taxes.
Yeah.
Of course, that never materialized.
No, but at least you have the 1% cap. We don't. Thanks for the call, Mike. But it's the same scam they ran here, right? Lottery will fund schools forever and ever. We'll never have to have another school funding fight. And, of course, that's all we've done for the intervening 30-plus years. Did you figure out what Keno is?
Yes. It's betting slips. You bet on a number 1 through 80.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and it's a game often played at modern casinos, Wikipedia says.
Wow. That's why you tune into the Chicago's Morning Answer so you can hear Amy read from Wikipedia.
Yeah, so you know what Keno is.
There you go. But this is what we should do. Think about if you had the casinos run the schools, as Rod, I was just picking up on Rod Blagojevich's grand insight, big idea there. Think about it. You could have croupiers teach math. Who better to teach math? You could have, you get the free buffets for lunch.
Yeah.
You get those fish-sized cocktail shrimp. Think about the halftime shows at sporting events.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bringing all that talent.
Yeah.
Huh? Thunder Down Under at Blaine for a halftime show.
During the volleyball match?
Yeah.
Be spectacular. We could charge people then to get into the game. Additional revenue.
You don't need to charge people because you're making it up on their,
Oh, that's right.
their poor math skills and lack of discipline.
Hey, can they bet then on collegiate teams now?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Now that's gonna trickle down to the high school level, and then next thing you know, middle school, and I'm gonna be getting paid off to put a bad player in, so we lose.
That's how it starts. It's gonna be like
I'm gonna be approached in the parking lot.
You're gonna be like
somebody from Hawthorne.
That's gonna be like the SMU of CPS. Blaine gets the death penalty during your coaching tenure. Zach in Downers Grove.
Putting more revenue in a corrupt system is only going to cause more deficit, and I only come to realize this by driving on these toll roads that are completely trashed.
Thanks, Zach. James in Westmont.
Quick update. General Zod is still alive, but Jor-El didn't make it.
Ah.
Yeah, but it's this whole revenue thing. Superman. What is going to happen? They always talk about it's going to quote unquote create more jobs, but for whose cronies, right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of idiot nephews to employ there, James. Thanks for the call.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So Rod wanted another statewide game. That's why he wanted Keno. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Keno?
Yeah.
How have you done?
It's not my game of choice because I'm not a blue-haired octogenarian who's mostly interested in the buffet when I go to a casino.
Coming up, First Lady is still hospitalized this morning. We'll tell you what happened. And how did she sneak into Walter Reed Hospital? Good for her. But first, here's your forecast today. Mainly cloudy, cooler, a high of 68 degrees. The good news is the rain is slowly disappearing. There's still a few storm clouds well south of the city past I-80. Tonight, clearing, a low of 51. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday look spectacular. Get your tee times, everybody, because you can play plenty of golf. Partly sunny and warmer. Tomorrow, a high near 80. Thursday, a high of 78. And on Friday, we will hit 80 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. How are the toll roads, I should say? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, eastbound Adams Tollway's in the bunker right now. You have delays from before Roselle Road to 53. There's a stall there. It's blocking 2 right lanes. Northbound Tri-State, heavy, kind of as usual. Southwest Highway to 87th from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slow about most of the way to just before St. Charles. Eden's inbound, 28 minutes like Hook to the junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, now 58 minutes, so here to downtown takes longer in the express. Outbound 48 minutes. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 45 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is heavier than normal. Got some water at Sibley. The left lane is blocked due to the flooding. I'm Jim Telemonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call the most honest lender in the mortgage business. That's Team Hochberg. Billy's family was cruising along until he lost half his income, which forced him to load $50,000 onto his credit cards to cover expenses. Now tired of the stress and living paycheck to paycheck, Bill called Team Hochberg to consolidate his debt. Listen to this. Team Hochberg helped Bill consolidate all his credit card debt into a 30-year fixed loan, gave Bill a credit for all his closing costs, that's nice, and reduced his payment over $1,400 a month. Wow! Bill was stressed out before calling Team Hochberg, but saved over $16,000 a year after calling Team Hochberg. So if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck like Bill and would like to see if refinancing can lower your monthly payment, call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call 312-751-1333 for no BS, honest advice. Call Team Hochberg 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 34358, NMLS 19186.
When it comes to hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to a short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using our intuitive online dashboard. Your time is precious. Let Indeed help you get to your short list of qualified candidates. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Your yard is not just a yard. It's a baseball diamond, a water park, a movie theater, and a grand banquet hall. Your yard is where memories are made, and you have the best seat in the house with the John Deere X350 Select Series tractor. Now equipped with the exclusive one-touch mulch control system, you can tell your clippings where to go, out the chute, or back into your lawn with just the push of a button. Nothing runs like family, and nothing runs like a Deere. Visit your local John Deere dealer to test drive one today.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. And I recommend it to everybody.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, the First Lady has been very busy lately. Remember, she greeted those 3 released prisoners. She rolled out her Be Best initiative last week in the Rose Garden.
Let us teach our children the difference between right and wrong and encourage them to be best.
Now you do it. Now you do it.
Let us teach our children the difference between right and wrong and to be our best.
That's pretty good.
Thank
Party
you.
animals.
And they're party animals.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But yesterday was shocking to learn. I mean, this was huge news. So first you had, honestly, well, you had Margot Kidder within a matter of 10 minutes. You had Margot Kidder die. Then you had the news that former Senator Harry Reid has pancreatic cancer and has been treated. And then, boom, First Lady Melania Trump is in Walter Reed Hospital. It was too much. My heart couldn't handle all this breaking news. But prayers to our First Lady. She's undergone kidney surgery.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of details released. Her staff said this morning First Lady Melania Trump underwent an embolization procedure to treat a benign kidney condition. So what does that mean? Well, you had to ask the experts and see what exactly that meant.
They're saying that they want to go ahead and keep her for a week, which is unusual in a case like this, but it could be because she's the First Lady and they just want to pay extra attention and take extra precaution. If there's a cyst or a tumor there, they use that catheter to go ahead and block off any blood supply, essentially starving that cyst or tumor in the hopes that it goes ahead and shrink at that point.
I love cyst talk in the morning.
I spoke with a nephrologist yesterday because those are kidney specialists. And also could be...
They look after your nephra.
And also, stop it all could be a bunch of blood vessels, too, that they needed to stop blood to flowing to. Or they could have removed her kidney. That's it. Well, and I just want you to know, I want to be the first to offer
my kidney to First Lady Melania Trump if she should require a kidney transplant. I mean, we're both the same age. We're about the same height. Our style's a little different.
Same age?
Yes. She's...
Okay.
We're the
You're
same
gonna,
age.
if you want to donate a kidney, you're gonna have to be honest with the medical professionals. So if it comes to that, it's all gonna come out.
I drink a lot of water. I mean, I did have a kidney stone recently. That might.
Oh, gross.
Exempt me. Did you get that in the mail, by the way? I mailed it to you.
Gee whiz.
So
he put it on a necklace.
Hey, but here's the deal. You know what? Kudos to her staff because they always talk about people leaking. Nobody leaked that. Nobody saw that coming. I think she checked in Sunday while her husband on Mother's Day was playing golf.
Conspiracy
that she went to Walter Reed Hospital, got in there, and then had the procedure bright and early yesterday morning.
Nobody leaked the kidney. Good.
Nobody. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Congressman Peter Roskam. The GOP has clawed their way back into a position to maintain control of the House. Can they claw their way back from the profligate spending in which they've been engaged? We'll ask Roskam at 7:37.
And more clashes in the West Bank. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Dan and Amy will start there. One day after the opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, there are calls for a general strike today in Gaza and the West Bank, protesting the deaths of dozens in Gaza, more than 50 killed. People on Hawaii's Big Island are still on edge, waiting for a possible violent eruption of the Kilauea volcano. It's been opening cracks, fissures in the earth, 18 of them, spewing lava and toxic gas for more than a week. Voters in 4 states will cast primary election ballots today. Today's contest in Pennsylvania, Oregon, Idaho, and Nebraska. Missouri Republican Governor Eric Greitens happy that prosecutors have dropped a criminal invasion of privacy charge against him.
This is a great victory, and it has been a long time coming. This experience has been humbling, and I have emerged from it a changed man.
However, you may know Greitens still faces a charge of computer tampering for taking a donor list without permission. Sports betting is now a state's issue. After the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a federal ban on the practice, New Jersey had challenged that ban, claiming it was unfair that gambling on sports had been allowed in a few other states. Search continues to find a 3-month-old girl missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Royalty Wolf was last seen near 15th and Avers. Police tell us the child may be in danger. A group of public parks activists are suing to block construction of the planned Obama Presidential Center on the South Side. Activists claim they filed the lawsuit because the center will not officially include an Obama Presidential Library. Chicago sports. Braves hold on to beat the Cubs 6-5. Cubs and Braves now play 3 games in Atlanta beginning tonight. White Sox open up a 2-game set against the Pirates at PNC Park. The news, a service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only, ends 6/23. Exclusions apply at Staples. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a threat to democracy, and it's not the president.
There is so much damaging to the American body politic by the anti-Trump left in this country. They keep screaming he is a threat to democracy. It's all nonsense. You can't point to a thing that makes him a threat to democracy. The threat to democracy in the United States, like everywhere, is the left.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Celebrate Dad, your grad, or those closest to you with the fresh flavors of Weekend Brazilian Brunch, now at Fogo de Chão in Chicago, Rosemont, and Naperville.
Your daughter's wedding is one of the proudest moments of your life, a moment you and your family will treasure for the rest of your lives. As the months of planning start to unfold and you get closer to the special day, things can get a bit hectic. So many important details. To capture these once-in-a-lifetime memories and not have to worry about anything but the celebration, trust Artland Photography for every precious moment. At Artland Photography, it's all about you. No matter what your style, their photographers have the skill and experience to capture the moments quickly and stay out of the way. They'll make it easy to enjoy all of the smiles, laughter, and tears to enjoy for generations. Visit them at artland.com, where you can see their amazing work and outstanding reviews for yourself. Plus, learn about a special limited time offer. You'll know why Artland Photography has been Wedding Wire's couple's choice for the last 5 years. They also shoot everything from major corporate events to business and family portraits. Visit artland.com. It's all about you.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
7:36. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike Kennedy. Inbound delays start at Harlem. It's 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 32 from Montrose. 36 in the Express. Outbound 48 minutes to O'Hare. Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 30. Eisenhower an hour and 2 minutes. 390 to downtown. 42 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 45 to 390. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. Ryan is 36 minutes from 95th to downtown. Tri-State delays are northbound from Southwest Highway to 87. Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow Beverly to Roselle after a stall. The Reagan Tollway tight approaching 355. Actually, those delays will start at Mill Street. Also slow 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound I-55, or check that, northbound Veterans Memorial heavy most of the way from I-55 before St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. Traffic Service from Account Temps. You can use help closing your books and need additional staff. It's time to call Account Temps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis. Fast. Call today. Account Temps, Robert Half Company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy and cooler today, high near 68. We have 65 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Build business with Chamber 630, one of the largest business organizations in DuPage County. Marketing your business and connecting clients is their priority. Visit chamber630.com or call 630-968-4050 to join today.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Morning, Dan and Amy, and celebration of the U.S. Embassy opening in Jerusalem yesterday. Had, of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu and his wife, as well as a substantial U.S. delegation addressing the world against the backdrop of violence in Gaza. Jared Kushner was there.
Yeah.
And he gave some remarks.
Well, it's kind of nice to be here. We seem to have people of all ages. Some my own, others
The cut up, Jared.
Let's just say born at a more comfortable distance from the apocalypse.
Now, you shouldn't have done the old age joke with BB, but nonetheless, Jared's actual remarks, including this.
I am so proud to be here today in Jerusalem, the eternal heart of the Jewish people. While presidents before him have backed down from their pledge to move the American embassy once in office, this president delivered. Because when President Trump makes a promise, he keeps it.
If I didn't tell you that was the real Jared Kushner, I challenge you to distinguish Jared Kushner from Emo Phillips. I don't think you can do it.
President Trump delivered a message via satellite.
Israel is a sovereign nation with the right, like every other sovereign nation, to determine its own capital. Yet for many years we failed to acknowledge the obvious, the plain reality that Israel's capital is Jerusalem.
And Prime Minister Netanyahu,
he looked elated. I mean, he
well,
was
of course, and holding forth on the importance of the day.
Dear friends, what a glorious day. Remember this moment. This is history. President Trump, by recognizing history, you have made history.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Peter Roskam, Congressman from Illinois' 6th Congressional District in the Western Burbs. Peter, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Good to be with you.
I know you were a proponent of recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, the embassy opening there. What were your reflections on yesterday's events?
Yeah, I mean, to say it's a big day is an understatement. And I think that one of the things that is significant about this is that the clarity with which the United States is now communicating in foreign policy, particularly as it relates to Israel, is a good thing. And I think that the notion that Israel doesn't have to look over her shoulder now to say, well, is America with me? Is America with us? And so forth. And I think the ease with which the Israelis are able to interact now with others in the Middle East is a good thing. This is a good day. It's historic. It's significant. It's self-evident, but nevertheless, it was a very important move, I think, for the administration and for the Israelis, clearly.
And now other countries are going to be moving their embassies to Jerusalem, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a shout out to little Guatemala, who is right at the head of the pack. And this is in tandem with some of the themes that we see coming from the administration, with Ambassador Haley in New York and how she's speaking clearly on Israel's behalf. And I think there's a lead sometimes that gets buried in the discussion of the U.S.-Israeli relationship. Oftentimes, the focal point is on how important the United States is for Israel, and that's true. But Israel is important for the United States. It's an incredibly important ally. It's the only country in the region that's a democracy. We have the shared value system and a shared history that is really significant. So this is it's a bilateral relationship that means a lot to both countries strategically.
CNN reporting this week that the generic ballot deficit for Republicans in Congress has winnowed substantially from just a month ago. It's down to basically the margin of error. So all of the hype from the D.C. press corps about the blue wave and this near certain takeover of the House may not come to pass. Still a long time before November, but it's certainly in play. So the question is, how can Republicans capitalize on the seeming momentum that they have and that the president has? One way to do it is to address something that has been a bit of a sticking point among conservatives with Republicans in control of Congress, and that is spending. There's a $15 billion rescissions package that went to Capitol Hill last week with more to follow. After that $1.3 trillion omnibus spending bill that disappointed a lot of conservatives, myself included, these rescissions packages, Congress going to take this up and at least try to reestablish some credibility on spending?
I think that there's the rescissions package may be more symbolism than substance. I mean, look, the thing that's driving the debt, the thing that's absolutely pushing things to a really significant point is our mandatory spending, Medicare, Medicaid, interest on the debt, Social Security, and so forth. Domestic spending, or I should say discretionary spending, the amount of money that Congress actually appropriates, that 1/3 of the budget, is less than it was 8 years ago, which is an incredible accomplishment. So the rescissions package, yeah, I mean, it's worth looking at, but the notion that it's somehow, going to be the remedy is update Medicare, make this a program that makes sense in the long term. We did that for 6 years in the House. These were the budgets that got passed when Ryan was chairman of the Budget Committee. The challenge is that the last two American presidents, Barack Obama and Donald Trump, have basically told the public, Medicare is fine, don't worry about it. Medicare is not fine. It's a program that, if left to its own, will become insolvent before we hope that would happen. And I think that there's a lot of work to do. So I would look at the rescissions package as a little bit of symbolism.
Do you think you're going to be tackling that soon?
Yeah, I think it's going to be coming up. There's been some reporting yesterday that the rescissions package won't actually save $15 billion as purported, but it would only save about $1.5 billion. I mean, using the word only to modify billions, I get that, but it's not.
In a $4 trillion budget, it's not much, right?
Yeah.
You were an opponent of Boeing trying to do business with the lead state sponsor of terror in the world. That would be the Republic of Iran. So you have to be happy about what President Trump did with respect to withdrawing from that unholy Iran nuclear deal that the Obama administration inked.
Yeah, that was a terrible deal. The Obama administration just started chasing a legacy, and the mullahs in Iran knew that they were chasing a legacy, and I think really embarrassed the Obama administration by setting it up so that there wasn't anything that Obama wouldn't do to make that deal, to the point at which they put pallets of cash on an airplane and sent it over to the mullahs, which was just obtuse and ridiculous. So now the President Trump comes in, fulfills a campaign promise that we're going to walk away from this deal. And the key to it, in my opinion, was the reassertion of crippling sanctions on the Iranians. And this is now bringing significant economic pressure on Iran. And that was the economic pressure that brought them to the table in the first place. And the weakness of the Iran deal was no deadline. It didn't have a sunset. The sunset clause was not well dealt with. It allowed for ballistic missile expansion and allowed them to continue to push their terror regime across the region. So I think stepping away, reallocating it, and the president said at the end of his remarks, we're willing to review this, but clearly the Iranians have to change their behavior, particularly on the terrorist side.
Well, speaking of sanctions on bad actors, how did you receive the announcement by President Trump over the weekend that he was going to intervene and negotiate to aid Chinese telecom company ZTE, which has been repeatedly found to be, a bad actor, stealing U.S. technology, violating World Trade Organization strictures, also selling telecom equipment to embargoed countries like Iran
and
North Korea,
yeah.
Syria, Cuba. So, but this is sort of a play as part of his larger deal making or attempt to deal with the Chinese. So what do you think? Is this something where you're going to give him wide berth to see where he can get to with the Chinese in terms of what Larry Kudlow said? The long-term play is to reduce trade barriers on both sides, or is this concerning to you?
Well, it's concerning, but to Kudlow's point, the long-term play is to reduce the trade barriers on both sides. And there's another element here. The president's relationship with Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, is significant. And the way that – so the Chinese are obviously playing an incredibly strategic role vis-a-vis North Korea because they're putting real pressure on Kim Jong-un and bringing him to the negotiating table. Without the Chinese help on the sanctions, that doesn't happen. So the President Trump and the administration, and we need that. We need them at the table. But similarly – our relationship with China is incredibly complicated, and I think it's interesting that that President Trump is not saying. Let me put it this way: President Trump is communicating that President Xi is a good negotiator and trying to revisit the negotiation. And so, in a pride-shame culture, which is the culture of China, he's trying not to shame him, but he's trying to induce a different response out of him. How this move over the weekend plays into that, I don't know off the top of my head. But any time there's big things going on with China, we're mindful to be wary of it. But to Kudlow's point, to be thinking of the long game.
And President Trump just tweeted, trade negotiations are continuing with China. They've been making hundreds of billions of dollars a year from the U.S. for many years. Stay tuned, !
Okay, we will.
There you go.
We'll stay tuned then, Mr. President. All right, Peter Roskam, Congressman from Illinois' 6th. Peter, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I've been suffering from depression for about 45 years. I've probably been on 5 to 6 different antidepressants. And even when they did work, there was that underlying feeling of depression, and it would never go away. Just call one of the treatment centers and just talk to the psychiatrist or doctor, and you'll be on your way. I'm Christy. I'm a wife and a mother and a real estate broker, and I no longer suffer from depression.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. You can make real progress in the battle with depression, cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
Hey, President Trump also tweeted this. Our great First Lady is doing really well. Will be leaving hospital in 2 or 3 days. Thank you for so much love and support. I think he meant to say thank you so much for your love and support, and that she will be leaving the hospital in 2 or 3 days. Anyway, homeowners often say their basement only leaks when it rains, and we've had our share of rain. And do you smell it? The seepage down in your basement. You don't have to live like that. Call Permaseal because they believe that your basement should be dry all of the time, no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. So give Permaseal a call, 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate and transferable warranty, so you can rest assured you're getting the best value. Back in 1979, Roy Spencer started Permaseal, and it's still a local Chicagoland business whose purpose is to make the world a better place, one basement or crawl space at a time. Your basement is already dry some of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal at 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or just go to permaseal.net. That's permaseal.net.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, and it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. And the thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Dan Proft here with the Home Loan Expert. He is Ryan Kelly, homeloanexpert.com. And a program that Ryan Kelly has that's near and dear to our hearts here at AM 560 is one specifically that caters to veterans, military families. The Hero Loan Program is what it's called. And Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and thank you for letting me join you today, Dan. Hero.loan, that's hero.loan. It's the only way to VA. And we were sitting at our office and we were trying to find a way to give more back to our service members, active and retired, and military families. The VA loan program really needed to be retooled, I guess, for lack of better words, and that's what we've done. We've streamlined it. We close VA loans in 14 days. I pay for your appraisal, and we give a portion of our money back to a great foundation called Fisher House. If you're even considering refinancing or buying a home and you qualify for the VA financing, apply online today at hero.loan. That's hero.loan, the only way to VA. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-210-6779. 800-210-6779. Don't wait. Call now. 800-210-6779. 800-210-6779.
Hey, we know replacing your roof is a big deal and a big decision. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. We would love to do your roof. Why choose Crumweedy to do your roof or roof repairs?
It's all about installation. Our guys are pros. When we install your roof, you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that's up to manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is intact. You'll be happy.
Cost. We give you a good, better, best option. You choose. No high pressure.
We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you.
We do business the right way. We have a special offer that includes free gutters with a new roof. Ask about it. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, your son's future high school is in the news. Peyton.
I know. I was so excited. Yesterday, $1 million donation was given by the former Walgreens CEO, Dan Jornt.
Yeah, Dan Jornt.
And he graduated from Amundsen. His father taught at the high school for more than 20 years.
And $1 million check that my wife signed. By this time next year, you'll have a turf field at Amundsen High School.
It's so exciting.
Dan, I actually know Dan Jordan a little bit. He's a really, really nice guy. And the reason he's really nice is because he had me out to play at Old Elm.
Oh, will you tell him, if you ever talk to him, can you tell him thank you? Because this is a good coup for Amundsen High School. But there's more. 6 graduating seniors were presented with $15,000 each for their academic and leadership qualities. And the CPS of CEO Janice Jackson called Amundsen. I'm trying not to cry.
Miss Jackson,
a rising star in Chicago, now being recognized as one of the top schools in the city. Go Vikings! I'm getting my Amundsen jersey today.
I just hope that Dan Jordan's gift doesn't negatively impact his ability to have me out as a guest at Old Elm again. That's what I'm mostly concerned about.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bruce Rauner tries to pander to both cops as well as gun banners. We'll see how he did at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Police looking for a missing infant in the city of Chicago. Paul Vallis lays out his plan for combating Chicago street violence. Governor Rauner proposes a limited death penalty. Braves clip the Cubs while the NBA draft lottery is tonight. Cloudy and cooler in your forecast. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
More Israeli-Palestinian clashes. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's in the West Bank. As the protests continue the day after deadly demonstrations in Gaza where 60 Palestinians were killed, 2,700 injured when Israeli forces opened fire to stop border crossings. Fox's Connor Powell's on the Gaza side.
In Gaza, it's a significantly calmer and quieter day today than it was yesterday. Only a couple hundred or so people, Palestinians behind me today along the Israeli security fence. It's a stark contrast to what we saw yesterday when there were tens of thousands of Palestinians here. It's the most violent day in Gaza since the 2014 war.
The UN Security Council will discuss the situation this morning. Human Rights Office says Israel violated international norms shooting protesters, but the U.S. says Israel has the right to defend itself.
The responsibility for these tragic deaths rests squarely with Hamas.
Deputy White House Press Secretary Raj Shah. In a few hours, President Trump will go to Capitol Hill. Fox's John Decker tells us why, live from the White House.
The president is set to attend a closed-door lunch with Senate Republicans to discuss the economy as well as recent developments in North Korea. Today's meeting comes as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is under growing pressure to cancel or at least delay the August recess if the Senate isn't finished passing government funding bills or doesn't get caught up on hundreds of nominations. In addition, acting CIA Director Gina Haspel is continuing to hunt for votes as Republicans race to confirm her to lead the spy agency before the Memorial Day recess. Dave?
John, Seattle City Council's raised the cost of doing business there.
All those in favor of Amendment 24, please say aye and raise your hand. Aye.
Well, that vote puts a $275 per full-time worker tax on big companies for affordable housing and homeless services. Amazon and Starbucks both oppose it, saying that the city of Seattle is spending without accountability and ignoring hundreds of children sleeping outside. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
63 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A search is underway to try and find a 3-month-old girl who went missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Royalty Wolf was with her mother. They were last seen near 15th and Avers, and police tell us the child may be in danger. A 7-year-old boy is recovering, grazed by a bullet on the far south side. Chicago police say the child was sitting in a vehicle when the driver of that vehicle got into an argument with someone at a gas station near 118th and Morgan. The person outside the car pulled a gun and then fired shots. Former CPS CEO Paul Vallas lays out his strategy for combating violence in Chicago if elected mayor next year.
A lack of resources and support is severely undermining the police department's ability to stem the violence.
Speaking yesterday, Vallas says his plan would include boosting the total number of police officers in the city to 14,000. Chicago Park District shutting off the spigots to 200 water fountains due to concerns over lead. Now, a spokesperson notes the fountains were considered low traffic. Other fountains will be running on a continuous basis to keep lead levels low. Braves hold on to clip the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley. Now the Cubs and Braves begin a 3-game set in Atlanta tonight, while the White Sox open up a 2-game series against the Pirates at PNC Park. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, the cool start to spring in many parts of the U.S. cut into business at Home Depot. The home improvement chain reported better than expected earnings and its sales improved, but Wall Street was expecting an even stronger quarter. It's blaming a slow start to the spring selling season. 2 MacBook Pro owners are suing Apple, demanding the company replace all keyboards from the devices released since 2016. The lawsuit claims one or more keys stick and no longer register keystrokes. There's no official response from Apple. KFC in the United Kingdom is celebrating this weekend's royal wedding with a commemorative chicken bucket. It is white with gold trim and has a seal that reads, "We declare a regal day of celebration, jubilation, and fried chicken." The Dow was up 68 yesterday. NASDAQ added 8. S&P added 2. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says we will not see the end of the attacks on Trump.
It just is so corrupt. It is such a double standard, and it is so obnoxious on so many different levels, but it's never going to go away because the mission, when you really look at it, is, been, and has been to never let Trump get elected, and then from the day he was elected to undermine Donald Trump.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using our intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Your yard is not just a yard. It's a baseball diamond, a water park, a movie theater, and a grand banquet hall. Your yard is where memories are made, and you have the best seat in the house with the John Deere X350 Select Series tractor. Now equipped with the exclusive one-touch mulch control system, you can tell your clippings where to go, out the chute, or back into your lawn with just the push of a button. Nothing runs like family, and nothing runs like a Deere. Visit your local John Deere dealer to test drive one today.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Tri-State southbound, it's heavy 137 to 60. And from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge, northbound jammed Archer to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. But Adams Tollway delays are from 25 to Roselle and 2 to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway, Eola to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's heavy from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles. The Army Trail toll to 290. Southbound 53, stop and go Dundee to Kirchhoff. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 36 minutes, 95 to downtown. Traffic service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase. Standout materials equals outstanding results. Offer in-store only. Ends 6/23. Exclusions apply. Staples. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Patchy fog with clouds for the morning. Then clouds and sun for the afternoon. High today 70 with temperatures falling into the upper 50s by the evening. Otherwise tonight it will turn out to be partly cloudy with a low of 51. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 degrees, cloudy skies at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Does it ever get old? Did you see this, Amy? The Chicago Gun Share Program exhibit in Daly Plaza.
What's that?
It was set up like a bunch of fake AR-15s set up in like a divvy bike docking station.
Yeah.
It's artistic work of Norm Billow of some Chicago ad agency called Escape Pod, along with the Brady campaign to ban guns, and Billow saying pretty easy to get a weapon of war. This against the backdrop of the gun banning legislation that the General Assembly had sent to the desk of former Governor Bruce Rauner.
He's still the governor until he finds a replacement for himself.
Playing out the string. Yeah, okay. Technicality. And the exhibit's coming down, and Governor Rauner, former governor, issued his mandatory veto yesterday, where he tried to split the difference and do what he's sort of done, attempted to do from the outset, which is appease everybody by making concessions that just sort of advance or keep current the status quo. So here there's a sop to gun banners as well as to cops.
Yeah. So what it does is they're going to extend the waiting period from 24 hours to 72 hours for all weapons. It was 24 hours before for long guns, and 72 hours for handguns. They're going to ban bump stocks and trigger cranks, which I still do not know what a trigger crank is. What's a trigger crank? Do you?
It was the name of your garage band in the 80s.
That's right, a cover band for
Bengals.
the Carlisle and the Bengals, yeah. And it's also going to authorize restraining orders to disarm dangerous individuals. But besides that, Governor Rauner dropped a bombshell saying he wants to reinstate the death penalty for mass murderers. That's anyone who commits 2 or more people, and anyone who kills a law enforcement agent.
We are proposing to reinstate the death penalty in the state of Illinois for mass murderers and for those who kill law enforcement officers.
And some state lawmakers actually think that the police officers are safer now because of something on paper.
Gang members are not stupid. They know the laws, and I think if they know that this is on the books, I think police officers will be safer because of it.
That's State Senator Dave Severson from Rockford. So look, I mean, this will dissipate into the ether quickly enough, but it also amends the county school facilities sales tax statute to fund resource officers because, schools are underfunded, allegedly. Never enough money for the schools. So here's the thing. This is just trying to split the difference. It's Solomonic. As I said, pander to gun banners. He's trying to middle the Democrats. I give you your extension of the waiting period for all long guns, make it uniform 72 hours for all guns. So that's a gun control measure that he's advanced. And I don't care what Rich Pearson from the Illinois State Rifle Association says. It's a bad deal. But we've just gotten used to the less worse deal being good enough, and that's something we should celebrate. Well, Rich Pearson can celebrate it. I'm not going to. I understand there was a need for uniformity because of the junk language in the bill where different long guns were treated differently with respect to the waiting period. But the way to do that is to say, hey, Governor, don't do anything to make it or more prohibitive than it already is to acquire the means of self-protection. Keep it at 24 hours uniformly for long guns and 72 for handguns until we get a more friendly General Assembly. The hell with them. The death penalty, kill 2 more people or special designation for police officers.
Well, it's saying that some lives are more valuable than others. That's what that's saying.
Yeah,
that if you kill a cop, his life is more valuable than, say, your life, Dan.
There's very limited. In addition to that, there's very sketchy evidence to suggest that the death penalty is really a deterrent. I understand the eye for an eye penchant of some, and I understand the arguments for the death penalty. I'm not a proponent of the death penalty. And to me, this is, like I said, just him trying to, here's something for this constituency, here's something for that constituency. It's the same old politics that have us in the place that we are, which is the worst governed state in the nation. And so, it's kind of a yawner, frankly.
Well, it was a headlines grabber, though, yesterday saying that they're going to reinstate the death penalty. We've had a moratorium on the death penalty since Governor George Ryan was here, and that happened back in 2000. And then Pat Quinn signed the law abolishing the death penalty in 2011, and now we're bringing it back just for certain groups of people, certain killers.
It's been proposed before.
I know, but the law is not going to stop cop killers, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey Debt Pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
I can't muster the energy to pretend this is something new, that we're treading new ground. This is bombshell. This is interesting. This is relevant. I just can't muster the energy. I can't muster the energy to continue to saw sawdust, to have the same anodyne conversations about public safety. I just can't do it. That's for the political hacks that people keep putting down in Springfield. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Well, Prof, you better pep up, brother. You got a big week. I'm not wasting 200 cigars and watching you debate when you're too tired to do it.
I'm not
and
too
if you think
I'm not too tired. I can't muster the faux interest or outrage on this particular topic. Please distinguish between the two.
this is the kind of political stunt that got you excited about politics. What are you talking about? This has got it all fired up. Now all the dummies can get in a line. Yeah, blue lives, support the blue. Blue matters. Forget about the fact that you can't even afford this. You know what a death row inmate costs? We're too broke to pep up a death row inmate. You can't even do it if you wanted to. Not to mention, no, occupational jobs doesn't make you more valuable. Sorry, I know everybody wants their pensions and prance around with their free cups of coffee and their costumes, but you're not more valuable than anybody. So either everybody gets killed for killing somebody or nobody does. Flager, Archie is right about two things. God gave his only begotten son so I can live, and cops are not more valuable than me, ever.
Thanks for the call, Sean.
If you can't muster up the energy, maybe you should get your maybe a low T.
No, that's not it. Hey, I got my numbers checked.
Oh, how are your numbers? We're going to reveal them.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the hour.
Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. I don't know if I can match that enthusiasm.
Oh, my gosh. Everyone gets testosterone levels checked today.
Waiting times, I
Yeah.
think mine are okay, thanks, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waiting times statistically, in fact, endanger those who really need firearms. And it's not like the bad guys wake up and say, well, if I could only buy a firearms from XYZ Sporting Goods, maybe I'll do that bank job today.
Yeah.
That's just not the way it works.
Otherwise, I'll have to put it off to the weekend. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, you know, or I got to wait 3 days, so they wake up and they do a little bit more planning. You know, they're not all like De Niro in a movie where they work meticulously for weeks on getting lock patterns and the
schematics.
habits
Yeah.
of security guards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think they think through it so much.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. Well, I mean, that's right. And it's also arbitrary. Like so much of government policy, numbers setting. The waiting period should be however long it takes to get a credible background check done, and then you go.
Right. That's what you said. That's a perfect idea.
Mike on the south side.
Hey, good morning. As a law enforcement officer, I just want to say I'm personally opposed to the death penalty in any case, but that's my own personal thing.
Me too.
My real problem is that there's no truth in sentencing in this state, particularly this county. But you've got guys that are getting sentenced to 7 years for armed robbery, 15 years for aggravated criminal sexual assault, and they're out in less than half the time. What's the point? You've got a guy recently, he was just paroled. He murdered a cop, I think it was in the 80s, and he's been paroled.
Yeah.
You're never going to get the death penalty. What's the point?
Yeah, there is this problem. It's a good point you raised, Mike. There's this problem that Kim Foxx and Tony Preckwinkle, her
don't even start me with those two.
Well,
they don't even want to charge for the crimes that are committed.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They want to empty the jails and not prosecute anybody who commits crimes. So that's one way to, deal with the overcrowding.
I get it with the simple, drug crimes or it's just possession, but they don't even want to charge for violent felonies, or they want to give probation or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
What are we telling these criminals? Hey, it's okay. Go out and do some more crime because it's fun and you'll get paid.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, it may be. Maybe I'll do it myself with my little newspapers. But boy, it's remarkable how little scrutiny Kim Foxx gets. How little scrutiny the Cook County State's Attorney's Office got, and it gets.
And people that are Cook County State's assistants can't stand her.
Well, she was
because they're like she doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
she's not a leader.
She's barely a lawyer. It's like Lisa Madigan, an attorney general. But it was the same thing with Anita Alvarez before Laquan McDonald. There's no scrutiny. The same thing with Devine.
They like Devine. The friends that I have that work there liked him.
Well, that's interesting, but it's not. It's not the deal is who watches the prosecutors. You want to talk about crime in the city? How can you have that conversation if you don't include the prosecutorial agency? Yeah, I know, but I'd rather just argue about these meaningless posturing of politicians. That's easier. Lee and Hammond.
Yeah,
just like you had on your newscast a little bit ago, some idiot pulls a gun on somebody in traffic. I'm a proponent of the death penalty, and the only thing that's going to get through to idiots that want to do something like that is maybe fear of getting slammed on a table and getting an IV in their arm. This is the only thing that's going to get through to people like that. And to me, the idea of buying into this argument that the death penalty is not a deterrent to these idiots is the same kind of gobbledygook logic that these liberals use. There's no, it doesn't compute. I mean, look at the stats. That since we wound up years ago not enforcing the death penalty, look where things have gone since then.
Yeah, that's thanks for the call. That's one of those post hoc ergo propter hoc arguments, though, Lee. The wet sidewalks cause rain. No causal link. You got it reversed. And again, the academic research into it suggests that the death penalty doesn't provide much of a deterrent. Death penalty cases are more expensive, as was mentioned before, I think, by Sean. So, I mean, I get the people respond to incentives, and I get the desire for justice for murderers. Certainly, I agree with that. I think people underestimate what kind of punishment it is to keep people locked up in a cage for their natural lives, which is what I think should happen to murderers, as well as, pedophiles for that matter.
I don't. I like capital punishment.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got bloodlust.
Well, I've seen too many dead bodies. I want a body for a body. Sorry, is that too aggressive?
Body for a body. So for the person who commits multiple homicides,
it should be a painful slow death. Like we could rip off one fingernail at a time.
So torture plus execution.
Yeah.
Not much of a constitutionalist, Amy Jacobson over here. Kind of hang 'em high, Jacobson. That's why she's known in the business.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
That decapitation story, that's for another day. That was that's when it solidified the fact about capital punishment for me.
Tell you, a week doesn't go by that we don't get a decapitation story from you.
Today, mainly cloudy. You can see cooler, a high of 68 degrees. Tonight, a low of 51 with clear skies. And then we have a string of just wonderful days. The rain will be behind us for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're going to have partly sunny skies, warmer, a high near 80, and into the mid-80s we go for Saturday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. It's heavy in northwest Indiana this morning on 8094 westbound. It's bumper to bumper from before Burr to Indianapolis Boulevard. Seen delays on southbound 53 in the northwest suburbs. Very slow Dundee to Kirchhoff. Northbound a little tight Algonquin to Kirchhoff. The Edens, 20 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy, inbound delays start at Montrose. 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown, but it's much heavier in the Express. Outbound 36 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower. An hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown, 46 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 45 to Mannheim, but an hour to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95 to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor. And he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking. And he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
It's not easy being a mom, but my Chrysler Pacifica makes soccer practice a little more fun. I can binge all my shows with the available Uconnect Theater, open the Stow and Go seating to grab my hidden romance novel, or just jam out to the radio.
Hey, Mom, what was that song?
Huh? What song? I didn't hear a song.
Chrysler Pacifica. It's loaded with attitude. Chrysler is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to BolingbrookGolfClub.com/contact/download our app. BolingbrookGolfClub.com/contact/download our app and download today.
Have a young golf enthusiast? Keep them busy this summer with the 2018 Robito Golf Academy Junior Golf Program at Bolingbrook Golf Club. It's a great chance for youngsters to learn golf fundamentals and get warmed up for the golf season by the professional teaching staff at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There are special programs divided into age groups, and sessions are still available but going fast. Get more info at BolingbrookGolfClub.com and click on Driving Range, then Junior Golf.
50 years ago, something started in Illinois that would change the course of history forever. As the abortion industry began to gain momentum in the state, 4 doctors and 1 attorney recognized the lies it was telling women and founded an organization that would present people with the truth. Illinois Right to Life. They deliver the truth about abortion and the sanctity of life through grassroots advocacy, genuine love and care for men and women in unplanned pregnancies, and education on the beauty and value of all human life, from conception through natural death. Join Illinois Right to Life for their Golden Jubilee celebration on May 18th, along with renowned pro-life comedian and author Mike G. Williams, AM 560's Dan Proft, and Reverend Caesar LaFleur, the executive director of the beloved Community Development Coalition, as they celebrate 50 years of saving lives. Get tickets at IllinoisRightToLife.org/banquet or call 312-422-9300. Seating is limited. More info at IllinoisRightToLife.org. Underwritten by Illinois Right to Life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and this story from the Daily Wire. Where's the wall-to-wall coverage on CNN of this story?
Well, tell me what it is.
Mother's Day at the Cheesecake Factory in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
22-year-old man, Eugene Joseph, was there with his girlfriend. He was wearing a MAGA hat.
Make America Great Again.
Correct. A woman who worked at the restaurant walked up to him and started pointing at his hat, signaling for the other employees to come over. Her finger was literally on top of his head. We were all looking at her like, what is happening, one witness told the Daily Wire.
Never touch. Don't touch.
She was pointing at him, calling her other coworkers, telling them to look at this guy wearing a Make America Great Again hat. All the dozen or so employees approached the table, began making comments about the hat, some saying they wanted to punch Joseph in the face. Witnesses also alleged that some of the employees also referred to him by the N-word. He's a black man.
Oh, my gosh.
So then all the employees started standing there saying things out loud like, I'm going to knock his head in so hard that his hat's going to come off. One of the employees gave Joseph intimidating looks, clenching his fists, making hand gestures. This is according to witnesses who spoke to The Wire.
Oh, my goodness.
He got behind me and Joseph spoke to The Wire as well. He got behind me and another coworker came by, and they were staring at each other, and he fist bumped him and then started looking at me, balling his fist, smacking his fist, trying to scare me. I got up and went to the restroom. My girlfriend followed me, and as we were walking back, a group of employees came out from the back, and they just started clapping and yelling and screaming things at me. Another witness verified the claim, saying that employees in the kitchen were booing Joseph loudly as he walked by.
Dear Lord, what's wrong with people?
The Cheesecake Factory representation and management declined to answer any questions about this incident. The Daily Wire reports they viewed multiple video clips and photos that validate the claims made by the witnesses about the number of employees appearing to stand around the table. One of the photos showed one of the men described by the witnesses as being the one who made the threatening hand gestures and so forth. So this was a black dude who's wearing a MAGA hat, and he gets rousted by a gang of Cheesecake Factory employees. And nobody apparently stands up for him. And no, there's no coverage of this. And there's no response from the Cheesecake Factory. Are they going to take a day off and do sensitivity training?
They should.
For all Cheesecake Factory employees around the nation? Where's the CEO?
Yeah,
and where's the outrage?
Why didn't the CEO fly in like the CEO of Starbucks did and meet with this guy?
I'm not saying...
And compensate him, too, for that. That's a scary position to be in when people are surrounding you like that. I don't care if you're a strong man. It doesn't matter. You're outnumbered.
I'm not saying that the Starbucks response was appropriate, so it should be applied by the Cheesecake Factory honchos. But I am saying that the coverage of this is remarkable. There's virtually no coverage other than the Daily Signal of this incident. And, of course, we're still talking about Starbucks and their bathroom policy 3 weeks after the incident in Philadelphia.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The skullduggery and scams associated with the much-beloved phrase infrastructure spending. We'll talk to Chuck Marohn, the founder of strongtowns.org, about that at 8:38.
And there's a new theory in the missing Malaysia Flight 370. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike.
Clouds and 65 degrees. A school in Miami is on lockdown. Reports of shots fired in the area. Responding officers are seen near the Brownsville Middle School in Miami. Right now, police are converging at a nearby apartment complex with weapons drawn. South Africa and Turkey are withdrawing ambassadors to Israel over the killings of dozens of protesters along the Gaza-Israeli border. South Africa blasting what it called Israel's aggression, their word, against Gazans protesting the U.S. Embassy's move to Jerusalem. President Trump will be having lunch with Senate Republicans at the Capitol today. Hot topics include immigration reform and renovating the nation's highways, bridges, and rails, all part of what can be done before November's midterm elections. Primary day in 4 states today, voters heading to the polls in Pennsylvania, Oregon, Idaho, and Nebraska. A couple from Fairfield, California, faces charges for the alleged neglect and torture of their 10 children. Police say they found the kids living in deplorable conditions. Back in March, Lieutenant Greg Hurlbut describes what they found.
Puncture wounds, burns, bruising, the injuries consistent with being shot with a pellet gun or a BB gun.
Interviews with the children indicate a pattern of severe physical and emotional abuse. The father, Jonathan Allen, was booked on 9 counts of felony torture. Here in Chicago, the search is underway to find a 3-month-old girl who went missing from Chicago's Lawndale neighborhood. Royalty Wolf was last seen with her mother near 15th and Avers. Prosecutors believe an Elmhurst police officer was justified when he shot a man who drove his car toward the officer during a traffic stop in February. And Governor Bruce Rauner says he wants prosecutors in the state to once again have the option to ask for the death penalty. Braves hold on to clip the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley Field. Cubs and Braves now switch to Atlanta for 3, while the White Sox open a 2-game set with the Pirates in Pittsburgh. The news, a service of Accountemps. Finding highly skilled accounting and finance professionals can be a challenge. Accountemps can help. With Accountemps' extensive network of accounting and finance contractors, you can be sure to find the right person for your exact hiring needs. Visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher thinks the Democrats are scrambling.
This is so crazy. The left is in such a frenzy. The DNC lawsuit suing WikiLeaks and the Trump campaign. Russia. Sue Russia, because that'll work. It's nuts. We are in crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Celebrate Dad, your grad, or those closest to you with the fresh flavors of Weekend Brazilian Brunch, now at Fogo de Chão in Chicago, Rosemont, and Naperville.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
It is 8:36 and a check of the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 is heavy this morning with delays from Dundee to Kirchhoff. Northbound a little tight, Algonquin to Kirchhoff. Veterans Memorial Tollway. Southbound slow, Army Trail to St. Charles. Northbound I-55 most of the way to St. Charles. And Army Trail toll to 290. Tri-state delays. Southbound 137 to 60. The Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Archer to 47. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. But Adams Tollway slow Beverly to Barrington and lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway, Eola to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. Edens looking at 19 minutes like Cook to the Junction, but outbound 32. Kennedy, 46 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 36. Eisenhower, an hour, 390 to downtown, outbound 47 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. The Ryan is 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, cooler, high near 68, clearing and 51 overnight. Currently, we have 64 degrees. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. There's nothing politicians like to utter more than the phrase infrastructure spending. Shovel-ready projects, right? Signature of Obama, the Obama administration. You hear talk of a big infrastructure spending program from President Trump. You hear the need to invest in our roads and bridges, surface, air, water transportation in Illinois all the time because, and this is true, Illinois' comparative advantage in the global economy is the centrality of our location and our transportation infrastructure, our airports, roads, rivers. But is anything and everything done in the name of infrastructure spending an unqualified good, particularly when, as we mentioned before, per a recent report from the Economic Policy Institute, Illinois needs $21 billion a year to pay for infrastructure repairs.
20 billion?
21 billion $21 billion revenue, about $37 billion annually, $9 billion in unpaid bills, $214 billion in total debt load that we cannot pay. And you're going to throw another $21 billion on the pyre. Difficult. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Chuck Marohn, who's the founder of an organization called strongtowns.org, and sort of an expert in the space, a lot of time in municipal government addressing these very infrastructure challenges. Chuck, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, give us a little bit about infrastructure spending from your experience, and a little bit in terms of putting this in an Illinois context with all of the infrastructure needs we have, infrastructure and disrepair, and so forth. Demystify the magic phrase infrastructure spending, if you would.
I think everybody can grasp what happened here. After World War II, as a nation, we figured out that we could keep ourselves from going back into depression, and we could really goose our economy if we went out and built stuff. And we built that first generation of highways, interstate highways across the country. We experienced kind of unparalleled levels of prosperity when we connected these far-flung places and made use of the automobile in that way. The problem is, under the idea that if a little bit is good, more must be better. We built out the interstates by the mid-'60s. All but a few stretches were done by the time you got to 1970. But we just continued to build and build and build and build. And we extended our cities out further and further. Every increment you go out is another foot of pipe, another foot of sidewalk, another foot of roadway that you ultimately need to maintain. And all this stuff creates instant growth and kind of instant prosperity. It creates jobs, creates area where we can build new houses and new strip malls and new big box stores. The problem comes due a generation later when you got to go back and fix it. And you have to go back and actually maintain that road, maintain that sidewalk. And what we find, particularly as we go further and further down this path, the more we build, the less wealth we're actually getting per increment of new building. And so that sugar high we got after World War II from the first initial bounce, we've kept trying to recreate that. And what we've created for ourselves is a whole ton of liabilities without enough actual wealth created to take care of them all.
And how does our declining population in Illinois affect all this?
What it does is it accelerates what we're seeing in other places. We can go out to California where they have population growth, and they're experiencing the same thing. They have huge backlogs of maintenance. They have huge backlogs of projects that are not completed yet. They've got more stuff than they can handle, but they have population going up. And the population's going down, you get the opposite effect. You get basically an accelerated effect. You get a situation where things get worse a lot more quickly because you don't have kind of again, like a little bit of a sugar high that you can add every year to kind of forestall the fundamental insolvency problem.
And, here in Illinois, $21 billion a year, it's projected we need to do infrastructure repairs on existing infrastructure. And what are politicians doing, like Rahm Emanuel? They want to do an $8.5 billion terminal expansion at O'Hare. It's always going back to this idea of spending on something that's tangible that people can see, a road improvement, an airport improvement, a river improvement. Say, well, look at this. You're putting guys to work, and that's a good thing, and you're improving the quality of our transportation infrastructure, or you say, expanding opportunities for economic growth. So it's all good until you have this echo effect that you talk about. And what's the echo effect?
Well, the echo effect is the idea that when we build something today, a generation from now, it'll have to be maintained. And, with the terminal expansion you alluded to, I think you get the sense of how this works. Maintenance is not fun. I'm not going to run for governor or mayor or what have you, for re-election under the idea that I was able to, maintain a roadway. They don't name roads after you or terminals after you for maintaining them, right? That's just what government's supposed to do. all of us hate maintenance. Like maintenance, if you're driving into work right now and you're driving on a road that's being maintained, all you experience is delay. All you experience is the downside of it. So, yeah, I would love to be the mayor who can expand the terminal. I mean, that would really be like a shining accomplishment. The problem is you're drowning in shining accomplishments from prior generations.
So it's,
21 billion, maybe a short number. That may be an understatement, actually, at the end of the day.
I want to get to that understatement in a second, but it's interesting what you're pointing out about infrastructure. I'm not saying, hey, building roads and bridges and waterways and airports, that's not a bad thing, but you got to, pay as you go in terms of maintaining it. Otherwise, you have these balloon payments when they start to fail that you can't finance, or you can't finance without cutting into other services that government can or cannot provide.
I think it's not only that. It's the idea that we have to build enough wealth in the private sector to maintain the stuff we're building in the public sector. We talk about having a minimum of a 20-to-1 ratio, $20 of private investment for every $1 of public investment, as being the lowest level of kind of a healthy ratio to make things stable. We see a lot of cities today the size of Chicago where it's 2-to-1, 1-to-1. You've got so much public dollars invested, and there's just no way to tax the private wealth there enough to actually, get the money to make good on those promises. It's really a disaster in a lot of ways.
Well, and again, going back to Rahm as a good example of the bad example, I mean, he touted when he was first elected this public-private partnership, right? The infrastructure trust, that somehow you're going to incentivize private money into building public infrastructure. Well, unless you're giving them, some kind of like parking meter or some other way to capitalize their investment, it's not a particularly attractive deal to do out of the goodness of their heart. So these public-private partnerships sound mellifluous? Oh, this is great, government and the private sector working together. But how do they really work in practice?
Yeah, they're really, and the ones in Illinois are actually more pernicious than most, because what it winds up to be is the government, whatever risk is there, the government assumes, and whatever upside profit there is, the private sector receives. And I'm not a big fan of them, particularly the way you do them in Illinois. It's a lot about getting short-term cash for the government and giving the kind of the long-term stable payments to the private sector. And, I'm all for doing things in the private sector. I mean, I think that that's great. But, if the government has a roadway and you're going to toll that roadway, why would you want that money to go to a private company? Why wouldn't you have that money go to, the people who are going to maintain the roadway? That's actually, maybe something that would cash flow. It just seems to be kind of silly to, get that cash today so you can plug your budget hole next year and then give up on decades and decades of what is really taxpayer dollars.
Going back to that $21 billion figure, that's the number that's suggested for Illinois' infrastructure needs, just in maintenance. You suggest that may undershoot the real number. Why is that? Why do you think that?
Well, and not to get too overly technical, I'll make this easy. Cities do cash accounting. They basically go year to year with budgets. So does the state government for the most part. Most businesses that you run into will do accrual accounting, where they have to account for their long-term liabilities every year and budget for that and factor in for that, put money aside. You can think of it as like your pension fund. If you're a private business, you're required to put money aside every year for that. To the government, you're supposed to in a nice way, but it's not really reported as an expense year to year. So what happens is that these long-term promises we've made, we'll fix your road, we'll fix your sidewalk, we'll fix your pipe, just pay your taxes and pay your fees. They're not ever accounted for anywhere. So they just show up out of the blue. Like all of a sudden next year we've got, this little city's got $10 million they need to spend to fix the road, and not budgeted that anywhere. They've not set that aside anywhere. It's not part of their annual budget they're putting together. So what happens is that this echo creeps up on us and it explodes our budgets. We see this over and over again where cities going along okay, and then all of a sudden they're drowning in promises they can't keep because nobody ever accounted for them.
And so what the solution to get out of this trap that you're describing in even the medium term is what?
Well, I think, first of all, we do have to come to grips with the fact that we're not going to maintain everything we built. And I think when you see a number like $21 billion in Illinois, understand that that's a 600% increase in the amount you're spending on infrastructure. You guys are broke. I mean, your state is paying bills with IOUs. It's not going to come up with that amount of money every year from now on to maintain infrastructure. So what is a world with fewer roads, fewer pipes, fewer sidewalks? What does that look like? And it's a completely different world than the one we live in now, and it's a completely different economic model than the one we live in now. So I think there is no solution in the sense that we're just going to continue on. I think the thing we need to do in the short term is to come to grips with this change and start asking ourselves some difficult questions about how we prioritize, how we respect, the commitments we've made in a way that, basically harms the fewest people as we transition this. It's going to be a difficult thing to deal with. The more we continue on this current path, the poorer we become. So we need to make a change pretty quick.
He is Chuck Marohn, the founder and president of strongtowns.org. You want to check out this guy's work. It's really interesting stuff, as you're hearing. He's also the author of Thoughts on Building Strong Towns and a World-Class Transportation System. Again, strongtowns.org. Chuck Marohn, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store, featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show, long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. That's featuring various opinion leaders and public policy makers, as well as My 60 Seconds of Sanity, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project, podcast for our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, our Heart of the Matter series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day and their impacts on family life and household budgets. And now our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, free property tax report on your home, as well as 2017 home sales data in your region. See how the highest property taxes in the nation are impacting home values. All the property tax and home value information at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad, just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Someday, someone you love will ask for help. And although Lake County Right to Life is not a crisis center, it is an educational and political organization involved in educating the public about current life issues and legislations. They take an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They formed the Lake County PAC to actively work in helping elect local Lake County candidates who are pro-life, pro-family legislators. These people support life-affirming legislation. Please help the cause. A crisis program center saves lives one at a time. Legislation saves thousands of lives. Lake County Right to Life supports women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Good public policy is supposed to protect the most vulnerable and does not impose on a taxpayer to pay for the lesser good, namely abortion. That takes everybody working together. For donations or information, visit lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
Dan Proft here with Ryan Kelly. He's the home loan expert, homeloanexpert.com. And Ryan, we know your business is getting people homes, refis, but what do you do when you're not doing that?
I guess that answer depends on if my wife is listening.
Yeah, right. There you go.
And I mean that in a way that, as a business owner, I struggle. I walk a fine line between running my business and working hard for my clients to get them great mortgages and spending enough time with the family, And as my wife and I have been married 10 years, we have 3 kids. And as you know, it takes a lot of time to be around the kids and do everything to be a good father and a good husband. So when I'm not at the office working on mortgages, I'm just like everybody else. I like to go to sporting events. I like to have people over for barbecues and really big into giving back. Giving back means a ton to me, my family, and the company. Refinancing or buying a house, don't get abused by those other lenders. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. Thanks, Dan. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
Hey, guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah.
What do you got?
You wanna...
American Airlines, real quick. They came out because I have a service animal. They came out with new rules. We stop it. I've got a doctor's note. No more hedgehogs.
From Nick Riviera.
No more insects because somebody actually brought a comfort pet which was a tarantula.
Comfort tarantula, sure.
Yeah, and then no more
Which
goats.
Brady was that?
No more goats, but you still can bring miniature horses on, but no goats. So what's the difference?
Here's an idea.
What?
No pets You don't get to travel with pets. You want to travel with your pet?
You travel
Take a
with
car.
You take your pet with you.
No.
To the shooting range and other places and to restaurants.
Right. I'm saying as a airline policy, one way to get rid of all these problems, no pets.
Okay. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, Quinn McCarthy, Keith Conrad, and to you for listening. We're back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now, here's Mike Scott.
Police looking for a missing infant in Chicago, and a cloudy and cooler day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.